30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Can the Chiefs do anything to become likable before the kickoff of Super Bowl 59? Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. It's kind of like cramming for a test. You know, we're become a little bit obsessed about this Chiefs backlash, Perloff, and I know you've been writing about it, we've been talking about it, and, you know, maybe we try to help the Chiefs get a little more popular before they play your Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl.
I don't endorse this assignment for 1 second because I think they are likable. But, you know, the best way to be likable is to lose this darn Super Bowl to my Eagles. If you lose to the Eagles, everyone will like you because everyone's going to hate the Eagles even more.
You know, I was thinking about that. I'm like, all right, you know, the Chiefs are getting some backlash. Maybe it's a little just Chiefs fatigue. So, yes, losing, you know, maybe people see them get their comeuppance or something like that. It doesn't seem like it's as dominant. However, I got to disagree a little because I think when push comes to shove, people do want to see the three-peat. Like, it puts to bed. Wait. And
no.
Here's why.
Nobody wants to see the three-peat.
Okay. But here's the thing. It puts to bed the discussion about whether or not the Chiefs are the dominant team of this era, right? Like, and it gets the Brady and Mahomes thing. Like, is Mahomes now the best quarterback of all time? Does that still go to Brady because of the sustained success? If they get the three-peat, there's so much more meat on the bone in terms of greatness and all-time greatness.
That's true, but you understand what you said is the exact opposite of what's true. People do not want to see the three-peat, right? I mean, isn't that just on its surface? Like, if you ask the average football fan, they don't want the three-peat. I thought that's the whole deal.
Okay.
Am I misreading something? They do want the three-peat?
Well, I think they want, maybe I'm being a little nuanced here. I think there are a lot of people out there who say that they want to just hear and they want to see greatness, right? That's why they tune in to see sports.
I am not seeing these people. They are not getting a voice in Sports Nation. They're not there. Every single person says, I am tired of the Chiefs. I want to see them lose. It feels like the one thing everyone agrees on.
See, I think there is a large faction. I'd be curious if you're out there at 855-212-4227. I also think there's a large faction who say, I want to see them go for the greatness. I want to see the top, absolute top. And that's generally people, I think, who probably love pro sports a little more than college or something like that, where they love to see the absolute best of the best. And I think that they would like to see something that's never been done before. After that, they want the Chiefs to start losing.
I don't think these people exist. I really don't. I've been looking long and far. I don't think people want the three-peat. I think they don't want excellence. Somehow, I don't know what's happened to us. We don't want to see the best of the best. Specifically, very specifically, people don't want this. I mean, we should put it out on a poll.
Yeah.
Do you want the three-peat? And I don't know why. I don't get it. Something's changed. We don't want to see. I mean, people always kind of root against the dynasty a little bit, but the Chiefs have given us no real, in my opinion, real reason. We've gone over this all week.
Yeah.
No real reason other than just people don't want to see a winner. I don't get it.
It is interesting. I think for the people who don't want to see the Chiefs with the three-peat, it's not actually about the winning and the three-peat. I think it's about all the other stuff. They don't like Mahomes anymore. Or Mahomes isn't doing the wow things anymore that they loved. He's begging for calls and he's baiting referees to throwing flags. And Travis Kelce has become too overexposed. And, you know, people don't like that the fan base has gotten a big head. And it's all stuff that's ancillary because you're right. You know, this is our profession, it's our job, right? We've made this our live sports. We do, I think, want to see the greatness. Painful for me, Bills fan, put that aside. We do want to see the greatness. I am one of those people that wants to see the greatness. Can I make an admission that I've never actually made in public ever?
Oh,
and I don't even know if I've ever made this admission in private.
But yes, please.
The team that I despise the most as a fan, clearly, the New England Patriots.
Okay.
In the same division as the Bills, destroyed the Bills year after year. made easy work of the Bills for many, many years. When the New England Patriots were down 28-3, I was rooting for the comeback.
Okay.
I wanted to see it. A team I hated, loathed, head coach despised, quarterback, just so jealous that they had this quarterback where the Bills couldn't get over the 50-yard line for like a decade. I wanted to see the comeback. I've never made that admission publicly before. I was in that moment. I'll admit it. I was rooting for Tom Brady and the Patriots because I wanted to see something that had never been done before. We ended up seeing it. I think there's a lot of greatness people out there, and they're people like me. You want to see the greatness, and you'll put aside some personal stuff about overexposure or not liking personalities or people's political views or whatever it is. You'll put that aside in this, just for this sporting event, and say, I want to see them succeed.
I think you do not have your finger on the pulse of this topic, and maybe people will call in. I think you're wrong. I think people don't want to see greatness, and I think all the reasons. First of all, you ask 12 people why they hate the Chiefs. There's 12 different answers. The only thing is they're too good. That is, if they weren't winning, none of these things would bother anybody. They wouldn't be as exposed if they were winning. But no, I think at the end of the day, if you're not going to like the Chiefs, then there's no dynasty you're ever going to like. It's the winning. It's the only thing that is at the end of the day, all these little reasons, none of them are consistent amongst Chief haters. So it clearly is the winning. It's only the fact that they're so good. So the next team that challenges 3B, we're going to hate them too. It's a guarantee. And people are going to root against them. People do not want to see greatness anymore.
That's interesting. I can't imagine that because it seems like we want to see greatness. I would think as sports fans we do. But here's the funny part about that. It's like, the one thing about the Chiefs and their greatness and what they've done, there's no cheating scandals like there were with the Patriots. It doesn't feel like, Peyton Manning used to say he used to joke, but I don't think it was really a joke. He always thought the locker room was bugged. Whenever they would go to Foxborough, he always thought, that people were trying to steal their game plans. Right. I mean, Belichick's a boogeyman to a lot of people.
Right. I mean, the Patriots were easy to hate.
Totally easy to hate. But I think it's funny because how did the Chiefs grow this thing, right? It's like, it's not like in baseball where the Yankees where you just outspend everybody or the Dodgers now. It's not even like the Steph Curry Warriors who, while Steph was supremely likable, even as the petty king, the owner came out and said, we're light years ahead of everyone else. They literally said that it was the New York Times. We're light years ahead of everybody else. The Houston Astros, we're light years ahead of everyone else. We're just better than you. Turns out they were cheating. There's nothing like that in the Chiefs' background where it feels like they cut a corner or they did something underhanded. In fact, they had a coach who was I don't say the underdog, but the guy who was known for losing in some ways, Andy Reid, known for choking in big games at home in the playoffs. They got Patrick Mahomes by being shrewd, trading up in the draft, to try to jump the New Orleans Saints who they knew wanted him. Travis Kelce was not that, he wasn't Travis Kelce coming out of college. He was a guy who got suspended at the Sugar Bowl for smoking weed. Like these were not, they developed these guys. And so I feel like that would be likable because it seems like they went about it the right way building their team.
Of course.
Except for, Tyreek Hill has some things in his background. You could very much dislike Tyreek Hill based on the police rap sheet.
Well, listen, they like the one key to building a great team is go for the character guys. Like, why do you think the Eagles are here and why do you think the Chiefs are? I mean, Tyreek Hill, Rashee Rice, go down. They have a long history.
Yeah, Jalen Carter.
The Eagles got Jalen Carter. Yeah, I mean, the key to the Patriots dynasty was just, Aaron Hernandez. Like,
he never won,
great teams ignore these character flags because they know they just need 4 years of production out of these guys. And the Chiefs are very much ignore character. Belichick's famous for saying anybody who's thinking about characters look at the wrong things. Anyway, that's besides the point. Yeah, of course, they're totally lovable. Everything about the Chiefs, Mahomes is lovable. Kelsey's lovable. They're all lovable. Joe Thuney, Juju Smith. Joe Thuney is an incredible
pick him
story.
out of a lineup.
I just say it's an incredible story. Their left tackle is a lifetime guard who is moved out of desperation and is awesome. They're a bunch of underdogs.
A real Rocky story there.
Yeah, DJ.
They have no top 10 picks. Like they're not like any dynasty. Like the Cowboys' great dynasty was loaded with top 10 picks. They were nothing but blue chippers. There's nothing like that in the Chiefs. Of course, there's no reason not to like the Chiefs except the winning. At the end of the day, I don't see any. But you can't ignore the fact that people are sick of the winning. It's obvious, and I mean, it's crazy. Did you know that meme that's out there, the graphic? What are people rooting for across America? The choices were the Eagles, the Chiefs, or I think it was a string of volcanoes or earthquakes, and everybody was rooting for the earthquakes except Kansas City and Philadelphia.
Yeah, EJ and Manny just raised their hand. They're basically rooting for a world annihilation.
Yeah,
it might be coming.
Got a disaster plan. I'm good.
We could sit here and tell people to like the Chiefs, like we're going to have no impact. People do not like the Chiefs. They just don't like this whole thing. It's unavoidable. We can't help. Okay. You can't help.
Here's the thing, though. When the Patriots were winning, was it historic? I mean, it was 3 and 4 years, and then there was like a decade, and then they did it again, and it's almost like 2 separate dynasties. When you're on the verge of seeing history, this is what I'm saying. I admitted to you guys, I was rooting for the Patriots comeback. I can't believe I haven't said this out loud, but I was, because I'd never seen anything like it before. We had never had a Super Bowl go to overtime until that moment when the Patriots came back from 28-3. This is history. I mean, think about it. I'm willing to put this aside. The team that's been crushing my team in the postseason, 4-0 in the playoffs, just outfoxes them every single time down the stretch. And I want to see the greatness. So I'm putting aside all my other beefs. 855-212-4227. Do you want to see greatness, or do you want to see the Chiefs fall from grace? Fall from the top spot, top of the mountain.
EJ, how are you going to word the poll?
I think it should be. Well, yesterday we said who you rooting for, Chiefs or Eagles, and I think the Eagles won, or did that on Monday.
That's a tough poll.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we could do it again.
I think it's.
All right, I mean, just do.
You got to give a third option.
Keep the Eagles out of there. Just say, are you rooting for a Chiefs three-peat?
What would you rather see? Can you put it this way? How about what would you rather see? Chiefs three-peat, Chiefs lose.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
The committee, we can all agree on the wording. This poll's not misleading.
I mean, are you rooting for a Chiefs three-peat? Pretty much sounds like the same thing. A little redundant here. I think it's implied. But anyway, yeah, I like it. It's fine. It's fine. Why do you feel like that's going to help your case a little bit?
No. I'm just curious when you put the option of them losing, like, do you want to see them lose or do you want to see them three-peat?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's you're right. It's radically different than are you rooting for the Chiefs three-peat?
Well, rooting is I don't like the word rooting. Well, I guess I'm not saying.
I see what you're saying.
Well, that's what it's in the poll. Wait, so you don't want? What are you rooting for in the Super Bowl?
We're going to figure out the wording here. At Maggie and Pearl.
She's trying to
X.
finesse this thing to get the results she wants. Trust me, I'm somebody who always does that with Paul.
Pearl's an expert, so
I see what she's doing, and I appreciate it.
Weren't you a paralegal at one point? Like leading the witness, something like that?
Yeah.
I don't want the poll to be leading.
Yeah, I actually, it's funny. I didn't interview any witnesses as a paralegal, but I assume.
More paperwork.
Yeah, you're right. Definitely word it the way Maggie said, because are you rooting for a three-peat is too vague. Because there's a possibility the game is canceled. Like, you're not making it clear what's happening here. Possibility the NFL decides that fourth down actually was a first down conversion and puts the Bills in the Super Bowl. So let's make sure that we clarify what we're saying here.
Maybe it should be, what do you want to see in the Super Bowl? A Chiefs three-peat or a Chiefs loss?
There you go.
You're not rooting for each. What do you want to see?
What do you want to see? It's very similar. All right, well, we quibble about the wording here. John is in Dallas. Let's get the calls up early and often. John, good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning, guys. Before I begin, Perloff, I'm going to say I found your TikTok a few months ago. I love your stories on there. Keep it up, man.
I don't do TikTok. What are you talking about? We do TikTok. It's a show. Is that what you mean?
Do? Okay.
Yeah. But thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
no problem.
You haven't been doing all those get ready with me's? That's not you?
I do want to say, okay, you may think I'm biased because I'm in Dallas, but I will say one thing y'all aren't accounting for is us as fans are around other fans more than anything. So if the teams that are in the Super Bowl have obnoxious fan bases, we're going to be rooting against them no matter what. Even though I'm in Dallas, I would hate way more for the Patriots three-peat happening. I hated that team way more than seeing the Chiefs get a three-peat. And so in this instance, Eagles fans are very obnoxious, so everyone, I would say, in the majority is rooting against them.
Yeah, especially in Dallas.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah. John, thank you, and thanks for finding us on social media. That just gave a big pat on the back to EJ there. He loves to hear that. Been working hard and growing our following on social, and we appreciate it.
He actually just said he likes Perloff's TikToks, to be clear. I don't know about the I haven't quite done a TikTok yet, but
Turns out it's Brad Perloff he's talking about.
Brad Perloff's got a fire feed. Look at that.
He's all over the world.
Yeah, Brad Perloff. You never know what he's going to do. Dances.
I know. We talked about doing those silly TikTok dances.
We did one dance in
our
2022, and we haven't done one since.
And the only reason why we did that one is because your daughter Lucy, who's a teenager, happened to be in the studio because it was like summertime. She was like, "You guys, your TikTok sucks,
bro. What are you doing here?
You've got to start doing these silly dances." And we did one, and it was one of the more embarrassing things we've ever done.
Although, weren't we all going to do a Jared McCain, the Sixers rookie, dance?
He got hurt as soon as we started talking about this, so I feel like we jinxed him, and I feel bad. Because actually, he's the only guy on Sixers actually like, besides Maxey.
Let's unpack a little of what John had to say. I mean, in Dallas, people are definitely going to be hating the Eagles a lot more than the Chiefs. I'm curious, though, do people understand what people think about the Cowboy fan base? Taylor is in Texas. Good morning, Taylor.
That's Kevin.
Oh, Kevin.
Yeah.
All right. EJ says my bad. All good.
Yeah, but definitely a Cowboys fan, lifelong, born into it, and it really sucks. I've actually kind of checked out since Prescott got his second contract, so I'm just waiting for him to be gone. And what's his name? Schottenheimer as a coach, he'll be gone when Prescott's gone. Also, he's just a placeholder. But anyway. I'm rooting for the Chiefs. I mean, for one, Patrick Mahomes is a Texas boy, but and also the Chiefs come from Texas. They were the original football team there in Dallas, but and of course the Eagles. You can't can't root for the Eagles. The only reason it's even going to be close, I think, on this is because of Saquon Barkley. There's a lot of people. I mean, I like Saquon Barkley, even though he played for the Giants. Division rival, and he's playing for the Eagles now. I think that's a feel-good story there. So if it wasn't for him, I think it'd be like 70% rooting for the Chiefs and 30% rooting for the Eagles. But considering he's in there, some of the fans that aren't Eagles fans are probably going to be rooting for the Eagles just because of him. But I still think probably the majority of the people are going to be rooting for the Chiefs.
Taylor, or Kevin. I keep saying Taylor's on the screen. Kevin. Thank you so much for the call. Let's talk about that because
Saquon Barkley.
I think he's right about Saquon. There is like a universal kind of appeal to Saquon, and I think what helped Saquon so much in that appeal is the fact that it became very public, and if you are following sports, about the Giants discarding him, and then the comeuppance of the Giants only winning 3 games this season. Like how stark that was. Like you let this guy go. Everyone said it was a bad idea. You kept Daniel Jones. Even worse idea. And Jones didn't even finish the season on the roster. And Saquon is having a career year and his team's in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't see it that way. I feel like Saquon's always been nationally very popular. He's just one of those guys who has like charm and he's exciting. Kind of like former Giant Odell Beckham Jr. was always wildly popular across the country. I'm not sure it's the Giants thing. I think everyone's always liked Saquon. Got a cool name. He runs wild, like really fast.
Great in college.
Yeah, huge star, number 2, the highest drafted running back in years. And I think his personality it's impossible not to like. Have you ever show me one Saquon Barkley interview where he came off as anything but this humble superstar? So I think it's more his personality. That being said, I don't think he's that likable that people are going to start rooting for the Eagles. I mean, he could come down off the cross, and I don't know. People would root for the Eagles. Like this is the Eagles we're talking about.
Man, he basically did for Eagles fans come down off the cross. But
I just think Saquon's very likable, but I'm not sure that's enough to move the needle to like the Eagles.
Well, let's be fair. This is generations of obnoxious Eagle fans. You're talking about, and I think it was Kevin was saying, or that it's like we're around fans talking about rooting for other fans. I mean, if you put up a poll, who's the most obnoxious fan base in the NFL? I mean, Eagles aren't finishing outside of the top 3, right? Top 2.
Not. I mean, they were probably a little more lovable before they got that ring. Then forget it. Maybe not that much lovable, but they're definitely hateable now. I get it.
Here's the thing. It feels like you guys hate your team, so why should we like them?
That's not true. People love everybody except the quarterback. That's the way Philly works.
Unimportant position.
Yeah, I mean, all all 21 players are beloved except the quarterback. It's just the way the city works. Jaworski, Randall, Donovan McNabb, Jalen Hurts now, Carson Wentz, the worst. All 5 of them. That's how people view it. But are you kidding me? Jordan Mailata will never, ever pay for a meal in his entire life. Jason Kelsey is an icon. You know how it is, right?
Yeah, no, I've mentioned that a Brian Dawkins jersey does serve as formal wear in Philadelphia.
I think other cities might be the opposite, where the quarterback is the most popular. They hate the quarterback in Philly. I mean, even if they pretend to like him, they want to bench him almost immediately.
Amazing. 855-212-4227. All right, poll question up at Maggie and Pearl on X. What do you want to see in the Super Bowl? Chiefs three-peat, Chiefs lose. Let us know. We've got so much to do today. I'm glad we're getting Cowboys fans calling in because we got some Cowboys news that came across the ticket yesterday, so we'll talk about that. And one part of it, Perloff, that I was really surprised by in terms of the schedule for the Cowboys moving forward. Kind of get to that in a moment. It's Maggie and Perloff on this Wednesday.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie Perloff Show. Okay, so I put up my own poll here, Maggie, just because I don't trust. This is an important poll. This is one of the most important Maggie and Perloff Show polls that we have done. Do you want to see the Chiefs three-peat? Because I'm getting anecdotal evidence that 90% of sports fans are done with the Chiefs. And I'd be shocked if the poll didn't say the different. But people are calling in and saying they want to see it. So maybe I'm wrong.
I think you are. I think that there's sports fans like me, and now people who work in the business too, who want to see greatness. And that's what you're rooting for if your team isn't playing in this game. You want to see greatness. Can I read a comment that we got on our Facebook page from this morning from Dave?
Dave.
As usual, Perloff is a putz. Capital P.
Yeah.
People want to see greatness. You're an Eagles fan. You have tunnel vision. Totally hope the Chiefs destroy the Eagles. Get a grip, Perloff.
Yeah.
By the way, love the show.
Shut up, Dave. My poll results. Do you want to see the Chiefs three-peat? Already 300 votes. 70% say no. And I'm surprised. I think it goes up to 80. I mean, come on. Are you guys paying attention? The blowback against the Chiefs is everywhere. I'm sorry, Dave. Shut up, Dave.
I love the capital P putts.
Oh, my God. Trust me. You should see my feed. It's nothing but haters.
I think that putts is such a funny thing to call somebody. We don't use it a lot. It's not haters. It's not derogatory, right? I don't know what the origin is of putts.
What do you mean it's not derogatory?
It's just like it's a silly insult to me, no? Harmless?
I'm not sure, actually.
Can we get the origin story on putts, please, EJ?
Sure.
It's a funny word to say.
How do you spell it?
P-U-T-Z.
Come on, Fordham.
Wasn't there a pitcher named J.J. Putz?
Yes, there was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was kind of good, too.
Let's go to TJ's in Houston. Hey, TJ, what's up?
Yes, I am a Kansas City Chiefs fan. Patrick Mahomes is a Texan. He played around Tyler, Texas, in East Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Xavier Worthy played at the University of Texas at Austin, did very well there. I'm a big fan of Andy Reid because I like the way he's developed the football and the offense and defense, and I think that Andy Reid, I remember a couple of years ago they were playing the Texans in the playoff, and the Texans were ahead 24-6, and instead of going for another touchdown extra point, they kicked the field goal, and then right then in 1 second quarter, it was all of a sudden it was 28-27 because Andy Reid adjusted his offense, and they beat them 41-27 in that game and just decimated the Texans on there, and they showed up Bill O'Brien.
Yeah.
And his defensive coordinator.
I remember.
Made him look really bad. I mean, yeah.
Listen, TJ, you're a Chiefs fan. Were you a Chiefs fan before Mahomes, though?
I was a Chiefs fan before Mahomes, but way back when they had this guy named Len Dawson.
Oh, yeah. So, TJ, you go all the way back. So this is not even a question for you.
They had some guy named Billy Cannon used to be a Oilers running back in the old AFL, and then they traded him to the Chiefs because he wanted to be traded. So I was a Billy Cannon fan back then.
TJ, listen, this is an easy one for you. Thank you for the call, and thank you for checking in.
Billy Cannon's the guy in the Dennis Quaid movie, right?
That's where I would know him more from.
Yeah.
But this is an easy one for you. You're a Chiefs fan. You're an Eagles fan. We know where you lie on this one. It's everyone else in between. That's who we're kind of curious. Do you want to see greatness or do you want to see the Chiefs lose? Do you want to see the three-peat? Let's go to Phil, who's also in Texas. Good morning, Phil.
Good morning, Maggie and Andrew. How are you guys doing this morning?
We're doing great.
Good. I want to see this. I am a big 49er fan, but I've always liked Andy Reid and just his philosophy and just his work ethic and everything else and just what he's done.
Wait a minute, Phil. Hold on. Let's not lose the plot here. You want to see a three-peat, you're a 49er fan. This team has beaten your team in the Super Bowl twice.
I know. But
you're rooting for the Chiefs?
I'm for punishment. I'm all about, I love the rivalry, but I also love greatness.
Okay.
And appreciate greatness, for sure.
Okay. Well, Phil, I think you're making my point. Thank you for calling in. Perloff, did you hear that? A 49er fan, diehard, is rooting for the Chiefs just to see greatness, even though the Chiefs sent him home and his team home twice in the last 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, do Niners fans have other problems? I don't think they're. Are they? Is that a rivalry, by the way? I know they've played it twice in the Super Bowl, but there's AFC, NFC. I'm not sure there's a lot of. I don't think of that as a great rivalry.
These are two super close Super Bowls where the 49ers had the lead in the fourth quarter and overtime.
I don't know. I never even considered that a rivalry for some reason.
We have the Chiefs and 49ers big hats right next to each other because we see them as equals, I thought.
I don't know. Also, anytime that a team becomes this dominant, you start examining, if I'm a 49er fan, it's like, all right, well, how do my 49ers, dynasty stack up against the Chiefs? How does this dynasty stack up? As a 49er fan, wouldn't you want, to poke every hole in their resume possible to make sure that your 49ers stay at the mountaintop or close to it?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess so. I've never connected these two teams. Kind of like the Eagles are playing the Chiefs twice. There's no rivalry there. Like, the Eagles love the Chiefs. I mean, like, they kind of share a common den mother. Donna Kelsey, they share Andy Reid. Do you guys consider the Chiefs and the Eagles rivals?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, let's see what happens in the Super Bowl, but absolutely.
Oh, there are teams that the Eagles hate, and the Chiefs definitely ain't one of them.
Well, okay, it's always different with the inside the division maybe, but if I'm a 49er fan, you did the back-to-back, and then you couldn't get out of the NFC Championship game because you lost to Manny and Bogusch's New York Giants 15-13. There's no way I'd be rooting for the Chiefs if I'm a 49er fan. I don't want them to get what my team couldn't do. Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'm crazy here. Bogusch has headlines for us. It's a very busy morning. What's up, Bogusch?
You're crazy for rooting for a Patriot comeback in that game.
I felt weird admitting that.
By the way, I wish I'd live bet that so much. I didn't know they were going to come back, but the odds are huge at that point.
I can't believe we get to forgive Dan Quinn and Kyle Shanahan all these years later because it was Maggie's mojo that messed things up.
Me on the couch. Just
How could you possibly do that?
I wasn't even at that game. I went home on Friday. I left.
I feel so bad for Matt Ryan still to this day.
Yeah, and now it's Maggie's fault.
I threw all that positive energy that I normally carry around towards the Patriots in that moment.
Yeah, there's no rooting for the Patriots, except in like real things.
Does Maggie's energy carry teams to victory?
See, I don't have a great track record
It's
here.
not about it's just about rooting for the wrong team. She threw like the balance of the universe off.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when a plane, like a small airplane, has too many people sitting on one side,
Right.
and they have to ask people, "Hey, can you get up and move?" I threw off the distribution.
Yeah, the time-space continuum was disturbed by her backing the Patriots out of nowhere. No one knew what to do, including the Falcons.
Especially the Falcons.
Headlines are sponsored
Sorry, Atlanta.
by Progressive Insurance. Your small business keeps you on the go. Progressive Commercial Insurance keeps your policy within reach with our easy-to-use mobile app. Learn more at progressivecommercial.com. Calling all boobs with the Lakers finishing a back-to-back and Gabe Vincent still dealing with knee issues. Bronny James was back from the G League last night in Philly, and J.J. Redick put him right in the game in the first quarter, and it didn't go well.
He didn't play well, but he's been playing great, in the Stay Ready games, and he's been playing great in the G. So I have confidence in him, but Obviously, didn't provide that at a high level.
LeBron.
Are you allowed to say that?
Yeah.
Is J.J. Redick about to get a blow dart in the neck? I don't think you can just come out and say Bronny didn't play well. Aren't we all keeping up this ruse that Bronny should be in the NBA?
But we do have eyes, Maggie.
Yeah. I thought that was wildly overly positive after I didn't see the game, but EJ described Tyrese Maxey.
Tyrese Maxey fried that kid. He fried that kid. He was giving moves that he wasn't giving he was doing playoff stuff. Yeah. I'm like, I haven't seen Maxey play this well all season. He's having a good year.
Wasn't great sounds like a over compliment to what I saw. And what was his line again? It was
0 points, 15 minutes, 0 of 5 shooting, 3 turnovers, 3 rebounds.
Yeah. Well, what about the energy that he brought? How about the energy?
But his defense, that's what they didn't get. Apparently, he was a sieve too.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see it either, but every write-up, and it's just what EJ just said, that Tyrese Maxey saw him when this will be fun, and embarrassed him for a few minutes.
Yeah, EJ, you're like, well, we all have eyes. Of course we can see he didn't play well. But it's like, we all had eyes when he was playing in college.
That's true.
We were a little surprised that he got to the NBA, but we all know the reason. We all have to play a part in this spectacular the emperor has no clothes situation that's going on.
I was watching the game, and he checked in the first quarter, and I immediately got giddy. I was like, hey, Bronny James, first quarter minutes. And he immediately turned the ball over. And then I saw him touch the ball another 2 times, and he turned the ball over, and he stunk it up.
Well, let's hear from his dad, because he was a little bit nicer post-game.
It's just about him just getting more and more comfortable. Obviously, it's just first extensive minutes, with us. As more and more opportunities you get, hopefully he does get more opportunities, but that's obviously out of his hands. But what he can't control is how he continues to work on his game and get better and better, which we've seen him do from the moment he entered that Minnesota game to today.
You'll also be shocked to hear that Anthony Davis got hurt last night, leaving after 10 minutes, an abdominal strain. The Lakers lose 118-104. Mr. Maxey finished with 43 to lead those Sixers.
Shouldn't J.J. Redick have picked a team without a fast point guard or somebody that can make Bronny look a little better? I'm actually being serious. Like, why would you debut him in that game in Philly?
I mean, he basically said that it was a mistake. Like, he said it in the quote. He was like, he just came from the G League. He's flying cross country. And you're like, hey, go guard one of the best point guards in the NBA. Go get him, kid.
I'd say go find the slowest, oldest point guard out there. Like, I don't know who that would
Miller's
be.
Still on 10-day contract.
Damian Lillard scored 20 in his second game back in Portland. He and the Bucks losing 125-112. The Warriors topped the Jazz 114-103. And the Rockets 196 winners in Atlanta. That's 4 in a row for Houston. Mike McCarthy is reportedly now focused on the next coaching cycle, so he will not be the Saints' next boss. If New Orleans was going to consider Cliff Kingsbury, he is staying with the
Commanders.
So Kellen Moore might be the favorite now for this gig. Matt Eberflus is officially the Cowboys' defensive coordinator, and Chuck Pagano coming out of retirement to coach the Ravens' secondary. Men's college hoops, Kentucky, a 78-73 win at Tennessee in a meeting of top 12 SEC teams, and 7th-ranked Michigan State down Minnesota 73-51 for their 13th win in a row, Sparty's longest run since the 18-19 campaign. Now outside the top 25, an unusual end to St. Louis VCU on CBS Sports Network.
You don't often see this in college basketball, but there is a heck of a brawl going on in the stands.
Oh, wow.
And the police officers and the security have come over and tried to help out almost immediately to slow it all down.
Just an ugly ending to a really good game.
Yeah, it's terrible.
The fight happened behind the VCU bench, appeared to be between fans from both teams. It all happened with a minute left. The Billikens of St. Louis eventually won the game 69-63.
Well, listen, when you get VCU and SLU together, I mean, expect fireworks. I don't know. Do they have a rivalry?
Definitely not.
I feel like VCU got into, it's still the Atlantic 10, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're 2 of the best teams in the league, so it was a big game. And St. Louis oddly traveled well to that game. There were a lot of blue hoodies involved in this fight, so something was going on.
Eagles-Chiefs type rivalry.
Right. Blood feud is what you're saying.
Wait, this game looks like it's in St. Louis, no?
No, is that VCU? No, I'm pretty sure it's VCU.
Oh, okay. There's a lot of blue seats, just saying. I'm watching the video.
I could have sworn it was in VCU because the Billikens arena is a very bright, like full-fledged arena.
as opposed to
VCU is like a more.
They play in a parking lot.
No, like VCU is darker, looks more like a college gym. Like St. Louis plays like in an arena.
Got it.
This is the A10 Mike Breen over here.
Yeah, I wish.
Manny, what's the name of the arena?
This one I know.
Billikens Arena, probably.
No.
Manny, it can't be your claim to fame that you know every arena. Then we give you St. Louis and you got nothing for us.
The Billikens? Come on now.
Bogusch said it's a proper arena. I'm sure it has some kind of naming, right?
Enterprise Center, I guess. I don't know.
No, I stand corrected. The game was in St. Louis. I could have sworn it was in VCU when I turned it on last night. So my bad.
Misinformation.
Manny, do you know what a Billiken is?
Hell no.
No, we've discussed this. It's one of the worst mascots going, though. It is scary as all get out.
Is it scarier than the Providence Friar?
Only the Providence Friar is scarier.
I, for a long time, thought it was a bird that lived near the ocean. It is not.
So what
The
is
Billiken?
a Billiken?
I thought it was like a pelican.
Is it a deep?
It's got a big bill, eats fish. That's not even close.
Well, it's not even really a thing, right? It's a...
It's a guy with a top hat, isn't it?
Why when I Google Billiken's mascot, I see like 3 different mascots. It's like bizarre.
Yeah, what is it?
I don't know. It's like to me,
It's
like
a dude with a top hat on,
No,
isn't
it's
it?
like a winking gremlin.
It's a Buddha-like figure.
I thought it was like a demon. No, is it?
Yeah, I think it's closer to it's some sort of mythical thing. It's like a Hoya.
Apparently, it's a mythical good luck figure who represents things as they ought to be, according to stlouisuniversity.com.
Yeah, and I don't like him.
I'm going to be honest. Our lack of knowledge around the Atlantic 10 is atrocious. And Manny's wearing a Davidson shirt today, and I'm assuming, are they in the Atlantic 10 these days?
I don't know. What's
yes,
your name,
they
Breen?
are.
Yes.
Why is that atrocious? Are there 8 other conferences we should know before the Atlantic 10?
That's the problem. They should fight more at their games. That's how they
Get more on the show.
Only A10 team I can name is Dayton.
No, well, I went to an A10 school, and when I did look up this fight yesterday and went to go look at it, that is when I was informed that the team and school that I went to is in dead last place.
How's that possible? They're not worse than Fordham.
Pops Mensah-Bonsu is in there doing something?
Oh, I wish. The whale killer.
Go George Washington Georges.
855.
The Rebs, baby.
212-4227. Yeah, they had to change the name because it was problematic. Can't be Colonials anymore. That's a whole other topic.
This Billikens thing is crazy. St. Louis has a very, very in-depth website page about everything involved with the Billiken. I'm doing this during the commercial break. This looks very fascinating.
Let's step up our game here when it comes to the Atlantic 10, all right? 855-212-4227. We see you guys on the phones. We'll get back to your phone calls. We're asking you a question. Would you rather see the Chiefs three-peat or would you rather see the Chiefs lose in the Super Bowl? We've got Cowboys news for you as well. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Lots and lots and lots to get to today, including our poll question, which you can vote on or call us up at 855-212-4227. Do you want to see a Chiefs three-peat or do you want to see the Chiefs lose? I think it kind of comes down to which side of the docket you fall on, Pearl. Do you want to just see greatness? Are you rooting for that? Or do you want to see the Chiefs get theirs and get a little comeuppance and, stop dead in their tracks? Let's go to Roy, who's in Indiana. Good morning, Roy.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, I just want to touch base here. I'm not a big fan of either team. In this case, though, I'm kind of pulling for the Eagles. Just kind of burned out on the Chiefs, all the controversy surrounding them, whether they're getting help or not getting help. And, I'm ready to see somebody different get in there, and I probably won't even watch the game. It'd be the first game I've not watched since 1980 when it comes to Super Bowls because I just don't have any interest in it.
Wait a minute. Whoa, Roy, let's not get crazy here. You're not going to watch what are you going to watch? Like put a movie on?
I'll probably put a movie on, to be honest with you. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I could be way off here, but it seems like since the NFL has embraced this gambling thing, it just seems like the game has changed so much overnight.
Okay.
And, I just...
Well, how has it changed?
Know.
Like, how's the product on TV changed?
Well, the product on TV has not changed. I think the referees' calling has changed. One player will get creamed one week, and then the next week, somebody touches Mahomes on the shoulder and it's a 15-yard penalty. It seems unfair. It seems biased. So I'm just kind of lost interest.
Yeah, so Roy, you think the inconsistencies in the officiating has really turned you off the game. Well, you know what? Thank you for calling and appreciate your perspective.
I shred officials all the time. It's definitely better than it was 30 years ago. The safety rules cause a lot of problems.
What do you mean the safety rules?
Well, people don't like the protecting quarterbacks. Like, there's nothing worse than the personal foul, but they're doing it so their quarterbacks stay healthy.
I know, but isn't it so funny that because they've also made the season longer, I feel like we still get the Tommy DeVitos and we still get the, who are some of the backups who played this year, the Spencer Rattlers, and we're still watching some pretty mediocre, bad quarterback play, even though the game's designed to keep them safe.
Well, also, too, the rules favor the quarterback running now because they get that freebie penalty, so they run at an unprecedented rate. Lamar Jackson is running at maybe 30% more than any quarterback in the history of the league.
Yeah.
And Josh Allen's not far behind. So it's like, yeah, of course. It's another unintended consequence of the NFL. I mean, reality, things like replay assists and replay make the game much more accurately called. I'm sure if we went back to 1984, like they were just guessing in real time of what was happening. What has changed, though, is social media being able to call out every single inch of the field. So I think we are more aware. We get to talk about the bad calls. I'm sure in 1975, do you think like they had any idea what was a catch or not a catch? They couldn't go to the camera. There was nothing like in real time. You know how fast that sport is?
Okay, but see, I get what you're saying, and for the most part, I agree with you, but wasn't it a little simpler when we didn't have 1,000 rules telling us what a catch is? We have to the point where we have no idea what a catch is. And it's up to the discretion of the officials. And then you have something like what happened in the AFC Championship game with Xavier Worthy and Cole Bishop get wrapped up. Xavier Worthy's got one arm on the ball. The ball hits the ground. No one knows if it's a catch or an interception, and somehow that's ruled a catch when that's never ruled a catch. So that's kind of annoying to me. And we talk about replay a lot. I love replay for the egregious stuff. Like what happened between the Rams and the Saints, even though that was not reviewable. You know, in baseball, what happened with Jim Joyce and Armando Galarraga. Like the stuff to really get the egregious bad calls overturned. I don't like replay for every blade of grass. And if you have to be pixelated and you are like zoomed in so far that we can't even tell what we're looking at anymore to see if a guy's big toe is out of bounds, I actually don't like replay for that.
So you'd rather have an inaccurate call?
I'd rather have just, what was it? What was it on the field? Because is it inaccurate if you're literally your middle toe is on the white?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in real time, these guys have no idea. It's impossible. You're almost making a guess. I've officiated. I've officiated basketball. It's impossible. You don't have the slightest idea what's happening. Can you imagine? You've been on the ground in an NFL game. It's going so fast. You think that any human being can literally tell if he's got to be watching the ball to make sure that he secures it and the feet at the same time at 90 miles an hour. There's no way to do that without TV. I'm sure they were guessing back in the day.
Let's go to Frank, who is in Georgia. Hi, Frank.
Hi, good morning. My wife's actually from the Philadelphia area, but I am secretly rooting for the Chiefs.
Don't tell her, Frank. That's not going to go over well.
No. It's going to be one of those, yay, go. But, yeah, it's going to be interesting because we take care of her mom and dad, and her brother's coming, so I'm gonna have a house full of Philly fans, and I'm going to be quietly sitting in the corner eating a wing, rooting for Patrick Mahomes.
Frank, me imagining this in my mind is kind of glorious. Like you reluctantly wearing, some Donovan McNabb jersey or something that someone got you for Christmas that you don't even want to wear, and everyone's going crazy, and you're in the corner like, yeah, awesome, great, go Birds.
Oh yeah, everyone's gonna have their Kelly Green on, and I'm just gonna be kind of sitting back and I gotta go check the ribs, and then kind of do a little touchdown dance.
Fist pump, in the kitchen, in the bathroom, something where no one can see you. Oh, Frank, That's awesome. Enjoy the game. Thanks for letting us know. Have you guys ever had to be an operative? Actually, you told me you did, not an operative, but you sometimes get courtside seats for the Knicks through Dr. Rock Positano.
Yeah, no, I've become a Knicks fan, though.
And you root for the Knicks when you're there, even though you're
I root for
76.
them all the time now.
Oh.
I'm a terrible bandwagon jumper. I'm like, I actually fell in love with the team while sitting in the front row.
Well, they also gave you a signed basketball.
Yeah. The second they gave me they're all Villanova guys. They play basketball the right way. Sixers are terrible. I'm all in on the Knicks.
Have you ever had to be like a double agent where you have to root for a team just like for the crowd's
Bogusch
sake?
had to do that at the Islanders game the other day.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, it happens.
I love Frank having to secretly root for the Chiefs in solitude. Well, his wife's family is
Be
all
outlandish with it.
I love it. Okay, lots more to do, including a major question for the big game.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Chiefs, Eagles, Super Bowl. Yet again. Got some interesting news about what the game and what the teams are going to look like. Uniform news. We'll get to that in a minute. But Perloff, we've been asking this morning, what would you rather see, a Chiefs three-peat or a Chiefs loss? Obviously, you're a fan of either of these teams. You know, you got your rooting interest. But for others, for casual fans, anyone in between, football fans, do you want to see the greatness, or are you so, turned off by the Kansas City Chiefs? Would you like to see them lose? Even if it's to a team like the Eagles, which is not exactly winning any popularity contest nationwide. Now, you can go vote on that poll at Maggie and Pearl, but I've got another question for you.
Yeah.
Let's do a little fast forward here. These are two teams who have been contenders for the last, 5-6 years. This is some good stretch, good run here for both the Eagles and the Chiefs, and obviously it's the second time they're meeting in the Super Bowl in 3 years. Who do you think is more likely to make it back next year?
I mean, this is quite obvious. I mean, it's definitely the Chiefs. Where are the Chiefs going? I actually was trying to convince myself that the Chiefs dynasty was coming to an end because Travis Kelce was getting old, but they seem unbeatable no matter what the circumstance. The Eagles are going to take a step back next year. I'll tell you exactly why.
Okay, tell us.
I'll tell you 345 reasons. Saquon, they ran him into the ground this year. 345 carries is in the top 50 all-time of any season. Much like Christian McCaffrey last year, like you have a superstar running back, you just wear him out. There's no way he's going to be healthy next year. It's just the way NFL history works. So you're not going to get Saquon next year. Jalen Hurts gets hurt all the time. So that two things is automatically going to make it impossible for the Eagles to get back.
Okay, you don't see that Saquon Barkley could have like a Terrell Davis kind of run where it's not just one dominant season and he can put together a string of a couple like really, really great seasons?
I think NFL history says that's unlikely. And Terrell Davis had that cut blocking thing. Anybody could have run through those holes. Then Atlantis Gary did the next year, and then Mike Davis did the year after that. I think that Saquon is going to have trouble next year.
Okay, but here's the thing. Philadelphia Eagles offensive line, always been good. Drafting replacements when you need them. I mean, why would you think that Saquon Barkley will still have success running behind a really great line?
I think it's a matter of science. I think if you carry the ball that many times, you're going to wear down. It's a longer season now than it used to be when Emmett played. I just don't think that running backs can do that anymore.
See, I think the Eagles have a better shot of getting back next year because look again at the quarterbacks that you face in the AFC versus the quarterbacks in the NFC. And I'm not trying to disparage anybody here, but besides Jayden Daniels, who, by the way, let's see what year 2 looks like for Jayden Daniels before we crown him. I love watching Daniels. He's awesome. But we thought C.J. Stroud was the next coming and the second, going to be the next great superstar and shoot into the top 5 of quarterbacks in the league or whatever we thought. And their team made the playoffs, won their division, but they were not nearly as scary on offense as they were that first year. So I'm looking at the rest of the quarterbacks in the NFC. Dak Prescott, we know. Jared Goff, we know. Jordan Love might scare me a little bit, but again, we got to see what happens. Matthew Stafford is getting to the end. I feel like even San Francisco fans may be ready to bail on Brock Purdy. I don't see the quarterback murderers row in the NFC like you do in the AFC with Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. Let's see what happens with Justin Herbert, year two under Jim Harbaugh. Trevor Lawrence now gets a new offensive coordinator, a new head coach, offensive head coach. Sean Payton still here as a great head coach with Bo Nix, who's a Pro Bowler. I mean, I just see these really good quarterbacks in the AFC, and I am not seeing that type of competition in the NFC.
I hear you with the quarterbacks, but the NFC is definitely the better conference now. Like the AFC is so top heavy. You get to feed all those easy wins because there's so many bad organizations right now. I think 6 of the top 7 picks are AFC teams.
Okay, but what does it say about the NFC that your number 1 seed was able to be upset at home in the divisional round? Like that was the best you had in the NFC.
It shows
and the
parity.
Lions.
The bottom of the NFC playoff field is so much better than the bottom of the AFC. Like the AFC is god awful. I mean, the NFC destroyed the AFC in head-to-head this year because there's so many bad teams. I don't even know why. There's so many bad ownership groups in the AFC. So I think you get to like Kansas City. Yes, all of a sudden you got Harbaugh and Peyton, but they've been feasting on this, bad schedule for years.
You're right. 4, I think, of the worst ownership groups in the NFL do reside in the AFC. Yeah. One is EJ's New York Jets, the Cleveland Browns, the Tennessee Titans have not shown that they're really up to snuff, and then the Raiders.
And the Jets, I think.
I said the Jets first.
Oh, sorry, you did say the Jets, yeah.
I led with the Jets.
Yeah, no, the AFC's a bit of a mess right now. I don't know, like the Eagles beat the Ravens this year. I'm not sure that it's that big of a difference. I think the NFC is going to be good. Now, the problem is the Chiefs. The Chiefs give the AFC a lot of rings. Like the Eagles would have a great chance of beating the Bills. It's not like that they're any worse. I'm just saying, and also, it's not that easy to get through, especially if Saquon and Jalen Hurts are not there. The game, it's a health game with the NFL, and somehow the Chiefs just stay healthy. I don't know what they're doing.
It's crazy. They do stay healthier, even when Mahomes is compromised. He can still win Super Bowls. He beat your Eagles on a high ankle sprain.
One year they really fell apart was against the Bucs in the Super Bowl. Remember, they had 2 tackles were out, and they just couldn't hold up. But
they also had Tom Brady they were facing on the other side, who had a ton to prove. That defense was a sleeping giant. I mean, that Bucs team was good.
All right, yeah, but I mean, if it was a healthy Chiefs team, that's a totally different result. Remember, Shaq Barrett just ran after Mahomes the entire game. Anyway, I'm not sure I totally buy that argument. Besides, the Eagles, if the Eagles were so, if it was so easy, why wouldn't the Eagles go every year? It's not like they're not like the Chiefs.
No, they're not. But I guess I'm saying I think that the Eagles would have a better shot to get back to the Super Bowl next year as opposed to the Chiefs because this is the thing about the AFC and these quarterbacks. Like, they are always going to have the advantage quarterback-wise over any NFC opponent that they're going to face. Like, when you're listing great quarterbacks in the NFL, period, how many do you list before you get to a quarterback from the NFC?
Let's see. You go Mahomes.
5?
Right. But, I mean, it's not like any of those quarterbacks give Patrick Mahomes any kind of problems.
Well, they keep winning.
Only one of them is beating him.
That's true, but that guy is in the AFC.
Right, but there's no reason to think that any of those quarterbacks are going to knock Patrick Mahomes out of the playoffs.
Well, I mean, yes, you're right. We haven't seen it yet. I hear you, but it's not like they're walkovers either. It's not like, your team beat the Commanders. It was a blowout. These are good games. I sound like a loser's lament. These are good games, though, and these are tough opponents. This has not been easy for the Chiefs.
Well, right. I don't know. I mean, the great quarterback argument in the AFC is going to make it tough for the Chiefs. It's not working out that way.
855-212-4227. See you guys on the phones. Let's go to Gary, who's in Vancouver. Gary, you rooting for a Chiefs three-peat or Chiefs loss?
I want to thank your producer for letting me on. I don't really care. I'm more of a hockey fan, but even then, I'm sick and tired of it, and I'll tell you why. And I told you, I wanted to get into it with your producer, but he wanted me to tell you.
Yeah, well, that's how it generally goes.
We'll
give you EJ's cell phone though and his personal info. You guys can talk after the show. Wait, what are you sick of though, Gary? You're sick of the Chiefs. You're sick of football.
I'm sick of all of it, and I'll tell you why. When you watch the Super Bowl, it starts, the pregame starts 4 or 5 or maybe as much as 6 hours ahead of time. Like, how much can you listen to until you're just ready to vomit?
Hey, Gary, hold on. Hold on a second. Is Roger Goodell sitting in your living room holding you hostage? You don't have to watch it if you don't want to.
No, I'm aware of that. But what I'm saying to you is that if, I don't mind watching an hour of it, then I might actually watch the halftime entertainment. By the way, who's doing the halftime? Can you tell me that?
Your favorite artist,
Kendrick Lamar, with a special guest star of SZA. Of course, Gary.
Are you joking? No. Goodbye. If they did John Fogerty, that'd be fine. But that? Are you kidding me?
Gary, you got to write a strongly worded letter to the NFL. And by the way, NFL went through a stretch where it was Tom Petty, It was
that was out 25 years ago.
Paul McCartney. Yeah. It was U2. It was
wasn't The Who one year?
The Who. We did classic rock.
Yeah. A long time ago.
We should bring back George Harrison and John Lennon to go ahead and do a little halftime bit as well. I mean, come on, Gary. Stop being so miserable. Good God.
Can we dig
go
up
outside. Go for a walk. Go do some pond hockey, bud. My goodness.
I don't understand that joke exactly.
Can we dig up Frank Sinatra?
I was like, geez, guys, this is getting morbid.
You could have named the living Beatles.
That's the point. All these has-beens, man, from 30 years ago, they still want them to perform. They want their skin and bones out there trying to perform out there. It's ridiculous, man. Shut up.
Well,
still think you could have chosen living people like
Ringo
John Lennon.
Starr could have been there.
John Lennon got shot, dude.
Yeah, 1980.
Yeah, I know.
You know that?
Yeah, December of 1980.
How do you know that random fact? You know nothing that happened before the year 2000.
Wikipedia.
That's a little scary. Are you happy about the halftime show? We didn't even talk about this yet.
Yeah, I definitely am because I have a bunch of friends who are big Kendrick Lamar fans. My buddy Seaton from Dan Patrick Show is follows Kendrick around the country. So I'm very curious to see this. And the girls like SZA. But that being said, I'll be at the game. I probably will not watch the halftime show because I'll probably desperately trying to get food.
Right. It's a long day. That's exciting that you're going to be at the game.
Yeah.
We didn't announce that to the audience yet, but I think they could have probably figured it out.
Yeah. Well, are you excited for Kendrick Lamar? I'm curious, and EJ, you're a big Kendrick fan. Do you think he'll do like a big Lady Gaga type physical routine, or will it just be more straight to camera?
I don't know if it'll be physical. It's probably going to be more visuals, right? Like really cool set designs, really cool imagery. He's not Michael Jackson. He's not going to go out there and start doing the moonwalk. But it's going to be more about the visuals because he's excellent. His music videos are awesome in terms of creating those kind of very cool visuals.
So he's not coming in with the harnesses from the roof. That's not his thing.
I cannot imagine that.
Gaga raised the bar pretty high. I mean, that was... After that, I would not want to perform after her. I mean, swooping in from the top, that was amazing.
Yeah, she jumped. It looked like she jumped from the roof. I was never sure if that was really just some kind of optical illusion or something.
Oh, yeah. I guess
I wasn't there for that one.
You always say that, bro. I don't really remember the Gaga performance like that. I don't, it didn't.
She started off, she was on the top of the stadium. I don't remember what stadium it was. Hard Rock? I have no idea.
It was an outdoor stadium, I think, yeah.
And then she looked like she jumped in with the harness on, obviously. Yeah. And then all of a sudden she was in the arena.
That's all I remember from it. Now she does these commercials for a drug. Have you guys seen those Lady Gaga? They run her in games sometime. Yeah. Lady for Sky Rizzy or something like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad.
I don't know what she's suffering from that she does the drug. Every time a drug commercial comes on, my eyes just glaze over because I don't know. They're so busy singing and dancing while they're telling you these awful side effects. I just can't. It never computes in my brain.
I don't even realize commercials are happening until Perloff's like, did you see that commercial yesterday? I was like, no. As soon as the game ends and Kevin Harlan's back to break, I'm just a zombie.
Except
I don't know.
You know that Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce are 90% of them.
Yeah, because that Bundalewski, that's the one thing that cuts through every time. It's so weird.
I mean, it shows that ad is effective, sadly, because we have to see it more times. I wonder if they run that during the Super Bowl.
I think they've got a whole other thing planned. Thomas is in Wisconsin. Thomas, what do you think? Kendrick Lamar at halftime, you in or out?
Early workout.
Thomas,
if you have some time that you want to...
Let's just listen.
Chat.
I mean, even virtually, too.
Yeah.
So.
Could happen virtually.
Thomas, I just want to make sure you're putting enough time in. Okay?
Sounds good.
All right, I'm gonna put that on pause. That suddenly got really personal.
I think we should hang up on that one.
Yeah, I put him on hold.
Yeah.
I kind of want to know what they're talking about, though. You never want to eavesdrop on a couple having a conversation?
Not in that case, no.
Okay. Am I alone here?
I'm a decent human being.
Come on. There's something about you're not a not decent human being if you're curious about other humans and their interactions. It's a little voyeur, I get that, but it's real life. No?
Sure.
Just plead ignorance.
Yeah.
Plead ignorance. No, I didn't. We're from New York. I'm from New York City, Maggie. I don't people watch. I don't eavesdrop because that's how you end up being a witness. No.
That's true.
But the people watching here is elite. You don't people watch?
Do not care. No. Again, I do not want to be a witness because I don't want my whole day to be derailed 2 months later being interrogated in a dark room in the NYPD precinct. I'm good.
Just because you happen to overhear
Too busy.
to a couple getting into an argument.
100%. None of my biz.
But they weren't getting in an argument. They were just having a calm conversation. All right, guys. No fun.
Damn right.
Manny just keeping his head down like the feds aren't coming, dude. 855-212-4227. Joe's in California. Good morning, Joe.
Hey, I think, Saquon can do the same thing he did this year if he get the ball. Like, Bo Jackson got the ball half the time. He's done it. O.J. Simpson's done it. Eric Dickerson's done it. But a lot of teams go away from the run and start going to the pass. So if we don't get enough carries, it won't happen.
But Bo Jackson got hurt, and he actually didn't carry the ball that much, but he got hurt. So that's not a great model.
He get 1,000 yards a year carrying the ball half the time.
I mean, Bo Jackson's the GOAT. So
no, I love Joe's point. Half the carries, but same production. Is that what you're saying, Joe? He can do just as much, even if he doesn't have the same amount of carries.
Yeah. And then in my house, I'm always the underdog. When every Christmas they would have the Warriors on TV. My daughter, she's a Warriors fan.
Mm-hmm.
I was rooting for Cleveland. I was winning. And then when we came to Kansas City, she's a 49er fan. So I beat her all the time on the underdog stuff. And this year she's telling me, hey, can you get my son a Kansas City Chiefs jersey? Thought she was a 49er fan.
Man, Joe, your daughter and Andrew Perloff have a ton in common. The bandwagoning is out of control. Thank you for the call.
All right, Bo Jackson never got more than 800 yards in a season, right? That was the thing. He was sharing time with Marcus Allen, and even his whole hip ripped off his body. That's not a great sign for Saquon.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate injury, and also felt kind of fluky, right?
Yeah, definitely. Except that he ran and did everything so hard. The dude would break bats over his knee, so he was cruising for a bruising.
People still say that?
No, my dad used to say that. You're cruising for a bruising, young man.
No, that's what Manny would be doing if he was listening to other people's conversation. He thinks he'd be cruising for a bruising.
Complete ignorance. Keep your head down. I do not know anything, officer.
Thomas is in Wisconsin. Thomas, you're back. Full disclosure, we heard a tiny bit of the conversation you were having with a woman, and she said something to the effect of she just wants to make sure you're putting enough time in.
Yes. Good morning. That was my mom. Oh, shout out to my mom. She's awesome, let me tell you. So she was just coming in for our morning workout here at our recreational Eagle Center here.
Oh, love it. Okay.
On the University of Wisconsin lacrosse campus. But anyway.
Are you putting the time in?
Yes, to my anatomy and physiology. It's a hard effing class. Like the professor says that. Listen, y'all, listen. Before I get into sports here, and I do have sports to talk about. The professor said that day one, yesterday, Monday, that is. So
you've been warned. You better put the work in.
Yeah, it's a Dane big class. Like we're talking like 7,500 people in a row. So
good. Way to clean that up too for terrestrial radio. We know you wanted to say a different word, and we appreciate you not saying it.
On national sports talk, I got to keep it.
Yeah, keep it for the kids.
Maggie.
Okay, so
Exactly
what do you think about the Chiefs and the Eagles in the Super Bowl, pal?
Maggie and my guy Perloff. Here's what I think. My personal opinion, I would have cared for Eagles and Bills. Eagles, what are the different areas? Eagles, Bills, Eagles, Commanders. Any combination besides the Chiefs and the Eagles, they're in part, I would have taken. So I'm not exactly thrilled. I don't know if I'll necessarily give them airtime or free money. I may listen. That is Westwood One radio.
Shout out, great broadcast.
That's what I'm saying, Doug. Like, what? Kevin Harlan, man? I'm the GOAT. So, yeah. So, Kendrick Lamar is going to be a great show with SZA, too. I have a roommate that he lives and breathes and dies like Kendrick Lamar. So, he's absolutely going to love it. And, my question that I told EJ, I want to get your opinion of it. And I'm going to hang off here and talk to a buddy of mine who's also working out, and that is, which professional sports league in your mind, Maggie, Perloff, Bogusch, EJ, the entire crew do you guys think has the best regular season? Like,
yeah,
talking
Thomas,
from, like a fan.
love the question. To me, simplest answer. Thomas, thank you, and keep putting in that work, man. Professor warned you it was going to be a tough class. Anatomy.
Warned in syllabus week.
I think that's smart. Just warn. Let kids drop the class if they don't want to put in the work.
That's what I do as a teacher. But anyway,
this is the easiest question to answer for me. The best regular season by far in sports is college football.
Yeah, to me, it's NFL. Because college football has all those dud weeks in the beginning because the scheduling is so awful now. Like September 14th, and think about the college football schedule. How often do you get to see top 10 teams play each other?
Well, I usually get something really good kickoff week. Now, because the college football playoff, they might ruin this now, and the sport may ruin it. But up until this point, I would at least get a couple really good ones, kickoff weekend. And then how often do you get Appalachian State over Michigan? I got Northern Illinois beating Notre Dame this year. Yeah. Even sometimes it's worth it, I think, for those every once in a blue moon upsets. And then you get into the conference play, and then you're home free. Yeah,
I would vote NFL because there's so much on the line every week.
Yeah, but is there with an 18-week schedule and 17 games? Like, Philadelphia Eagles started 2-2, didn't matter. Then they went 14-3 the rest of the way. I mean, the Bengals started 1-4. They almost made the playoffs. Like, because the beginning of the season doesn't matter. Because every single person I know is either betting on it or in fantasy. Like, every Sunday is a huge deal. Same is true with college, but you don't have the fantasy thing. Just college is because of the schedule. There's just so many bad weeks, in my opinion. And also now with the 12-team playoff, we know it's just a matter of time. It's going to go to 16. It's going to become college basketball. 855-212-4227. You can let us know. Best regular season. Thank you, Thomas, Wisconsin, putting in the work. We have a lot more to do, including a thought on one of the most exciting quarterbacks in the NFL. Who is it? We'll talk about him next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. All right, I got bad news for fantasy owners who have Saquon on their team next year in one of those carryover leagues. Here is how 2,000-yard rushers did the next season. OJ, 1,125 yards. Eric Dickerson, 1,200 yards. Barry Sanders had the best year, 1,491, but he's Barry Sanders. Terrell Davis, 211 yards. Jamal Lewis, 1,000 yards. He was down 50%. Chris Johnson, 1,300 yards. He had a good year. And then Adrian Peterson, 1,200 yards. So my argument is that Saquon had too many carries. The Eagles knew they were using him up. There's no way he stays healthy next year, especially considering his health history. He's going to be Christian McCaffrey 2.0, and the Eagles will not make the Super Bowl next year, unfortunately.
So if you lose the Super Bowl to the Chiefs, is it doubly devastating? Because you not only would you have lost now twice to the Chiefs, but also you basically may have ran Saquon into the ground, and you're not even going to have the Lombardi to show for it.
Yeah, yes and no. It doesn't feel I'm going to compare it to your Bills.
Yeah.
The Eagles have a ring. There's a little bit, in my opinion, feeling like this wasn't necessarily supposed to be the year. We're a little bit above expectations. So I don't think it's the most heartbreaking loss. But then again, when it's actually in the final minute and Mahomes kills them again, it will hurt. It doesn't feel like it's not the same as your Bills. Does that make sense? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, but you still, and I don't, listen, my Bills don't have a Super Bowl, so I don't know what this feels like. But let's be fair, you guys have won. And I'm not trying, one's better than zero. I'm not someone to talk. But one, considering how good the team is that, Aaron Rodgers got one, and it's looked at as a disappointment because he's such a great quarterback. To just get one when you've had all these bites at the apple, doesn't that feel a bit disappointing?
A bit, but they're not like Aaron Rodgers where every year they were the number one seed. They kind of up and down. I mean, did you see this coming with the Eagles in your wildest dreams?
I thought Nick Sirianni was the first coach fired.
Yeah.
I felt pretty good about that. So, no, I did not see it coming.
I don't know how far off you were on that take.
Well, also,
they were 2-2. It didn't seem great.
If the Detroit Lions don't get totally decimated on defense and lose a home game to a rookie quarterback, I don't know if you are in the Super Bowl. I don't know if the Eagles were the best team all year.
No, I mean, absolutely not. And the fact that the NFC title game was in the link was gigantic. Imagine if they had to go on the road, they're a different team. So I do feel like this is house money a little bit. Now, maybe that's me rationalizing because we're about to face Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, get your excuses ready.
I mean, the Chiefs are pretty darn good. I just feel like it's going to, and not to preview the game, but don't you feel like it's going to be some pass into the flat with a minute and a half left and it's going to get a key first down and kill us? The Samaje Perine play is going to happen. It's inevitable. It's like the universe just fixes everything so Patrick Mahomes gets a key first down.
Well, you forgot also about a painful penalty like James Bradbury, defensive pass interference or defensive holding, whatever it was.
Fourth down measurement that just doesn't seem right.
Oh, no, there's a million painful ways you can lose this game.
But it's not going to be as bad. And I'm sorry, this is going to sound like a pile on. It's not going to be as bad as your Bills loss because there was so much pressure on the Bills to break through this year. Probably we put too much pressure on them. Everything was riding on this year. Felt like they needed this win. Maybe that wasn't a great idea.
You know, can I be honest? I felt like there was way more pressure on the Bills last year.
This year
was like a mini rebuild, they thought. Got rid of Diggs. A lot of people picked the Jets to win the division, including you and me.
Did they have to win their last 6 games to make the playoffs last year?
Yeah, they did. But I think there was a lot of pressure going into the season. Josh Allen was preseason MVP.
Definitely.
There was just a lot riding on that year.
But I think it was in the postseason. I think there was a lot more on the Bills this year.
But let's talk about that because now we've been describing and unpacking just how unlikable the Chiefs maybe have become. How much was it pressure on the Bills to actually break through, and how much was it people just wanted to see the Bills win to vanquish Kansas City? Like they put their hopes and dreams into the Bills just because they wanted a different matchup in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That could be that. There is a narrative that it's time for Josh Allen to break through. I heard a lot.
They're not wrong.
A lot of people say he's too good to not have ever made a Super Bowl. Same with Lamar Jackson. By the way, I think the Ravens might have been a better matchup for the Chiefs this year. Regardless, maybe the Ravens could have given him a better run because they had probably learned a lot in last year's AFC title loss.
I mean, it was a 3-point loss.
Yeah.
Like it was a good game.
I hear you.
The Bills did give him a run. I don't know. So I was on with our pal Bart Winkler the other day.
Yeah.
Nice Bart, nice enough to have me on. Does 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. on a lot of these same Infinity Sports Network stations. Definitely check him out. He does a great job with our man Carlos behind the glass. But he was asking me, as a Bills fan, do I get worried because while Tom Brady and the Patriots were so dominant for 20 years, there was that stretch in the middle, that 9-year stretch where they didn't win a Super Bowl. And during that stretch, some other people did get a chance to win. So Ben Roethlisberger still has a ring. Why am I blanking here? Peyton Manning was able to break through. Joe Flacco even was able to break. Like a lot of people still won rings in the Brady era.
Yeah, but not a lot of people got out of the AFC. He still was in a bunch of Super Bowls.
So many, but there were other people who got a shot who are known to be the great quarterbacks of that era. Of course, Phillip Rivers is not that guy, and I've seen a lot of comparisons now, Josh and Phillip Rivers so far. But he kind of made a good point. Like there still are other great quarterbacks who thrived in the Brady era. Even going to the NFC, Aaron Rodgers did get his ring. You know, your Eagles did win a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Russell Wilson did get a ring. You know,
Matt Stafford got a ring.
Well, but Brady was at the very end.
Right. Well, in the middle of the Mahomes era.
Oh, in the middle. Yeah. It's just like I don't know if that's going to happen though necessarily. Mahomes feels way more dominant.
We're talking about no.
Which is weird to say.
It's not gonna. It won't be like that. Guys are gonna break through. There's going to be many Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. I mean, it's been 2 in a row. It's not like it's been that long. I mean, the confetti is still on the ground at SoFi from Matt Stafford. Tom Brady won. An old Tom Brady won. This is not going to be Michael Jordan. I mean, do you think it will be?
Where's the evidence? When's this going to stop? Mahomes is the same age basically as Josh Allen. Andy Reid's in his 60s. We just saw Pete Carroll get hired at 73. I mean,
I think they're going to
keep coaching.
I think they're going to kill the AFC, but I think the NFC starts stealing some Super Bowls. There are a lot of really young. There are a lot of good young players in the NFC.
Okay, but is Mahomes going to keep Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, C.J. Stroud? Is he going to keep Trevor Lawrence? Is he going to keep all these guys from Joe Burrow?
Lawrence, yeah, but a lot of them are on flawed teams. Joe Burrow that's a bit of a mess.
Oh man, can you imagine having Joe Burrow put up the type of season he had, and you didn't even you needed 100 things to go your way in the final week of the season to get in. That's just crazy to me. Bogusch has headlines for us. Hey, Bogusch.
Enough with the Burt.
I never know if these stories are honest decisions or guys getting ahead of losing out on a job. Here's Mike McCarthy, apparently now focused on next winter's hiring cycle. He was theoretically under consideration in New Orleans, but he and the Saints had never actually scheduled an interview. And then there's Cliff Kingsbury. We were told yesterday he would remain Commanders OC as if he was in the running for something else, but Kingsbury declined interviews while Washington was still playing, and he didn't appear to be on the Saints' wish list. The Cowboys have hired Matt Eberflus as defensive coordinator and Nick Sorensen as special teams coordinator. Sorensen ran the Niners D this season, and it appears that Mike Vrabel will not retain Brian Belichick. Bill's other son was the Patriots' safeties coach the last 5 years and had been on staff in New England since 2016. One of the hottest teams in men's college basketball is number 15, St. John's.
The entry pass goes to Sorber, drives it into the middle instead, stumbles down, loses the ball, picked up by Wilcher. Wilcher to Lewis, ahead of the field, and a windmill jam for R.J. Lewis, and it's 37-9.
And that's our friend John Minko on Learfield. The Johnnies racing to a 30-point first-half lead last night at Georgetown. They beat the Hoyas 66-41, extending their win streak to 7. That is their longest Big East winning streak in 25 years.
41 points in 40 minutes.
10th ranked, listen, the Knicks are enough out of you. 10th ranked Louisville on a 10-game run after downing Wake Forest 72-59. And number 7 Michigan State has won 13 straight, courtesy of a 73-51 decision over Minnesota. Playing for the third time in 4 nights, the Bucks took a 125-112 loss in Portland. That 112 really bothered Doc Rivers.
I thought our offense was awful. I really did. I don't care if we were scoring. We didn't have the beautiful ball movement, next pass, hitting the open guy the entire night. We just didn't. The ball stuck all night.
Rare spin doctor these days. They win more than they lose now.
I know. We had the spin doctor already for Doc Rivers, but he doesn't have to make up a lot of excuses. This one seems like he was pretty on the money. He wasn't trying to just shirk any responsibility for their loss. It seemed like this one really was on the players.
Yeah, didn't say we were tired or anything like that. Just
no excuses.
Pass the ball, bros.
Still want to hear the spin doctor though. He'll be back.
Oh,
He's
of
just
course.
laying in the weeds right now.
April and May. That's when the tour starts.
I think the problem is they got off to such a bad start. The excuses came in a fury, and then they started winning, and now he kind of ran out of all his best material in the first week. They were 0-5 or something crazy.
Got him out of the way.
Yeah.
The Lakers lost in Philly last night, 118-104, and Anthony Davis made an early exit with a pulled abdominal muscle. The Rockets pushed their win streak to 4, 196 in Atlanta, and the Warriors topped the Jazz 114-103. Steph Curry did not play with sore knees, but he should be out there tonight against the Thunder. Meanwhile, the Warriors, among the teams being relinked to a Jimmy Butler trade now. Apparently, Miami's asking price has come down a bit. Brittany Griner is signing with the Atlanta Dream. She has only played for the Mercury since being drafted number 1 back in 2013. And at least Maggie still has the Sabres, right? They took care of the Bruins last night, 7-2. Tage Thompson, their Josh Allen, had 3 goals and an assist.
So he's not going to win a Super Bowl?
I was going to say, congrats to him. Is that now a good thing or a bad thing? No, I'm just kidding.
Sabres are awful.
They are. I have a question for you quickly about Mike McCarthy. So you mentioned it, former Dallas head coach, going to take the year off, though it didn't really seem like the Saints were that interested. Looks like Kellen Moore is going to be their guy, Eagles offensive coordinator. Good broadcaster, bad broadcaster? What do we think about Big Mike?
Oh, my God.
I'm assuming he's going to go into the media, right?
He didn't last time, did he?
He did not, but this is the easiest way to get your stock back up.
Yeah.
Couple McAfee appearances, and all of a sudden, you're a hot candidate.
I say John Fox bad.
I think he'd be horrendous. I agree with Perloff. And I feel bad because I kind of like McCarthy as a person.
You don't think he could be fun and folksy? You don't think McAfee's going to have him on? They're both Pittsburgh guys. This is going to be a Pittsburgh Yins bro-down.
I told you this before about McCarthy. There's something about the way he talks where I think he's obviously a smart guy. To be an NFL coach, I think you have to be smart and win games the way he has. But he just the way he talks, the breathing, the the long
the breathing.
The
we
long
all
breaks.
breathe.
I mean, look, maybe this is me and my job because I cut so much sound. But I've watched so many press conferences of him, and he just
Wait,
he
you
sounds
can't,
like a guy who doesn't know what he's talking about, even though he does.
Breathing.
Retread coaches are not good announcers. I mean, Bruce Arians was not good, and he's an incredible personality. That's never a formula. Like the older coach is always kind of boring.
But Belichick had like 19 jobs.
Right.
So there's a lot of openings in podcast and fantasy world coming up here soon.
I thought you meant like a color job, like calling
studio.
games.
Maybe he just does a little ESPN.
Even studio, except for Jimmy, it's not a great formula all the time.
Let a naysayer know.
I mean, you're saying like this Bill Belichick, like CW, like weird podcast route, maybe, but I mean,
I don't know. Maybe he goes to Barstool like Gruden, and he's breaking down film and moving around some of the guys there, and all of a sudden you look like a genius.
I think he wants to coach. Well, I mean, we know he wants to coach. He's going to be afraid to say anything that could mess something up. He's not going to criticize anybody. He's not going to have any real thoughts.
Well, you can criticize strategically, like Belichick this year, 19 media jobs, and he basically just criticized the Patriots and the Jets. Two places he knew he wasn't going to coach until he tried, I guess, with the Jets.
So McCarthy can bash the Cowboys and the Packers?
Basically. Two places you're not going.
But I don't think McCarthy has a leverage, though. He doesn't have the success of Belichick. Like, he's a marginal NFL coach anyway.
I think there's some truth to that. Like, him calling out some other coach for their, like, clock management is going to look like, kettle and pot,
He wasn't blistering hot when the Cowboys signed him. I mean, the Cowboys signed him. Like, Mike McCarthy, I don't think is going to be able to pick his own job.
Not trying to point fingers here. What's the difference between him and Bill Cowher? Bill Cowher, who we all respect, like. I'm just saying, he won one Super Bowl.
Then he left.
But there were some high-profile losses that Bill Cowher also had, and he's wildly respected.
Because he left. He's retired.
No, I'm just saying he went to broadcasting, and...
Yeah, I'm just saying.
What's the difference?
It's a huge difference. Bill Cowher, and maybe I have my timing wrong, he won his Super Bowl and walked away. Mike McCarthy won his Super Bowl and had 14 disappointing years. It's like massive difference.
I don't know. I'm just saying we're talking about resumes.
I also feel like in Cowher, he had 1 year after the Super Bowl, but like I feel like even though he lost a lot of big games, I don't think we thought of Cowher as being like a bozo. And, like, I don't know if Mike McCarthy deserves that, but that's what people think of him. I'm just being real.
Yeah, Rodgers kind of gutted McCarthy at the end of the day.
Yeah, like, Rodgers, I think, did some damage. I think that a lot of, like, Cowboys fans are all over McCarthy for every mistake he makes. They kind of make him sound like he's a dope. Again, I don't think he is. But I think all the perception of him doesn't help. I think Cowher, we always respected him.
Okay.
So, you lost to the Patriots. Well, Bill Belichick probably cheated.
That's how I think a lot of people
think.
I think he's a bum.
McCarthy, I think, then should probably go into broadcasting, and if he has the ability to be folksy, big folksy football guy, like, we love that. He could be John Madden. You don't know. He's not going to be John Madden, but you know what I'm saying. Like, maybe he has a way of communicating to the public that is something we haven't seen yet.
I'd be shocked because I've seen a million Mike McCarthy interviews. He just doesn't strike me as somebody who'd be entertaining, but maybe you're right. But he didn't do it last time, so that's kind of where I'm thinking, like, he's not interested. Like, he wants to coach.
855-212-4227. Bogusch, thanks so much. Coming up, we are all making a big prediction for the offseason. We'll do that next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. We get back to Super Bowl matchup in just a moment. We're asking you today, would you rather see a Chiefs three-peat or the Chiefs lose? But Pearl, one of the big rivals of the Chiefs historically and recently has been the Raiders. Las Vegas introducing Pete Carroll on Monday and their new GM, John Spytek. Now, we know Tom Brady's involved, and this is a good moment, I think, for the Raiders. It's been pretty dark days, and now at least it seems like they have some competent direction in the building. We know Pete Carroll's got the bona fides. So one of the big pieces of the puzzle is who's going to play quarterback for this team. So today we're going to do a little exercise where everyone on the show is going to write down who they think will be the starting quarterback for the Raiders week 1 of the 2025 season.
I need a pen.
There you go.
So, okay, we're writing down. Are we going to reveal our picks today, or are we going to reveal them in August?
No, today. Not going to make the audience wait.
Why do we have to write them down? We could just say them then.
No, we got to keep ourselves honest, because sometimes some people like to bandwagon jump, kind of change their opinions. And so if we write it down, well, now you can't change it.
That's ridiculous.
Okay.
You're saying I just lie about what I predicted?
We are the New York Knicks.
Sometimes. Okay, just kidding. Who will be the starting quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders week 1 of the 2025 NFL season? Go ahead, sir. Who's written down on your sheet of paper?
Russell Wilson.
Explain yourself.
Well, they interviewed Darrell Bevell, who is Pete Carroll's offensive coordinator in Seattle from 2011 to 2017. Bring the gang back together. So the beggars can't be choosers. Yesterday I said Aaron Rodgers because Brett Favre is a Darrell Bevell guy and history likes to repeat itself. But you convinced me, Maggie Gray, that there's no way the Jets are not going to keep Aaron Rodgers because they have 0 other options. 0. So Rodgers stays with the Jets. Russell goes to the Raiders. Russell's a free agent. It makes much more sense cap-wise. And they stay with the old theme in Vegas, the retirement home, Pete Carroll, Russell Wilson, bring the gang back together. Wilson knows Bevell's offense really well, so they're going to want continuity, assuming that they do hire him. And it seems very likely that Darrell Bevell will be the next offensive coordinator.
Can I ask you a question, though? What if the Steelers, who we heard from Art Rooney earlier this week, he did a sit-down interview with one of their broadcasters, and he said the preference is to keep either Russell Wilson or Justin Fields. What if the Steelers go to Russell Wilson and say, we want to keep you?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to want to pay him anything, though. They're going to try and lowball him to keep they're going to want total flexibility cap-wise. So I think the Raiders could probably, if they really wanted him, outbid them. And we're not talking for a lot of money.
Okay, my pick for this, who will be the Raiders starting quarterback week 1, 2025, Shedeur Sanders. I think as the draft process goes along, I know you have Tennessee and Cleveland picking at the top of the draft. I know that's who you have to jump, right? Because the New York Giants are picking at 3. So you have to get up to 1 or 2, most likely. I don't know if the draft process is going to be great to these two dudes.
Okay.
I think we're going to pick them apart. And while the draft process is usually awesome for quarterbacks because we get to see them throw in shorts and they always look great, I think people are going to nitpick Shedeur a lot. And I also think Deion's going to get involved, and he's going to steer Shedeur towards who? Tom Brady. Tom Brady and Pete Carroll. I think Deion would trust both of those two gentlemen that they would have the best interest for Shedeur, and they have the better chance to succeed as opposed to Tennessee, who's a mess. Cleveland is a mess. And let's be honest, the Giants haven't been doing a lot of winning lately. So I think Deion gets involved. I think it gets messy. And I think he is the starting quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders.
I like it. I like it.
All right, quickly, EJ and Manny. We got about a minute.
I wrote here Kirk Cousins.
Okay.
I think that he's obviously going to need a new home because Atlanta is certainly not going to keep him. I think that Vegas will look at him and say, hey, put him back in the dome, indoor stadium. I think they want a veteran presence. I don't think they'll be able to get those top 2 guys. So I'm going with Kirk.
Manny, who'd you write down?
Vegas, let's raid. I got Russell Wilson. I think that there's a certain comfort with Russell Wilson and his new head coach with the Raiders. And why not get the quarterback that nearly defeated the part owner in a Super Bowl if it weren't for passing the ball at the 1 yard line?
Yeah.
Let's pillage. How about that? Not let's raid.
Raiders Nation, let's pillage.
Yeah, I like that.
It's so lame.
I mean, oh my God, the Raiders would give Russ so many opportunities for catchphrases. By the way, how about Russ and Shedeur Sanders? A little combo platter. Or Kirk and Shedeur Sanders. A bridge quarterback might help.
Well, the only thing is, don't you have to trade for Kirk? Is he still under contract?
No, but they're going to cut
They're going to cut him.
Oh, they're going to cut him.
The Falcons are going to cut him.
Yeah, they're going to cut him. Okay. So I was going to say, you can't put draft capital towards trading for Kirk Cousins. That'd be nuts.
By the way, there was a headline today. The Browns were talking a lot about they don't think Deion will stand in the way of getting Shedeur. Maybe they're wrong, but I think there is a good chance. You're totally right. They will get nitpicked, and these are not the best prospects. That it is 1-2 Ward Shedeur.
I think Deion is not going to allow Shedeur to go to Cleveland.
I think Cleveland might be interesting.
It is a quarterback graveyard there.
It might be interesting to some people. I mean, they remember when Odell Beckham Jr. was there and Baker Mayfield? They were a high-profile, buzzy team.
And what happened? The front office got rid of both of them. First of all, Odell Beckham's dad had to go on social media on a campaign to get him out of there, and then
the front office didn't do that. Odell got him out of there.
But then Baker, they actually did have a good, competent quarterback clearly, and they ran him out of town for Deshaun Watson.
Well, no, Baker was done in Cleveland. That wasn't going nowhere. I just think that Cleveland is not as bad a place as you think. I mean, they have some talent. They have a good O-line, some receivers.
Man, that is just where quarterbacks go to die. All right, that's our picks for who's going to be the Raiders starting quarterback next year. Coming up next, it's Wednesday, which means the great debate.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Huge debate raging on the show today. Welcome into it. It's Maggie Gray. It's Andrew Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network. Pearl, the debate is, would you rather see a Chiefs three-peat or the Chiefs lose? Obviously, you're a Philadelphia Eagles fans. I think you should maybe have to recuse yourself from this one, but it's the idea about seeing greatness. Do you want to see greatness? If you don't have a rooting interest in this particular matchup, do you want to see something we've never seen before, something historic, or is the backlash to the Chiefs and the dislike now of the Chiefs dynasty become so strong that people want them to see them stopped in their tracks?
God, I would be shocked if our poll result didn't read 70% say they do not want to see the Chiefs three-peat.
Yeah, see, I disagree. I think if you love football and if your team's not in it, I think you want to see the historic thing. And you
should, but I don't think you do. I think people are haters.
I mean, are they that disliked? I get it. They are very much disliked. The backlash is real. But a lot of that stuff is ancillary. Some of it's real. Some of it's the winning and the product on the field. But a lot of it, I mean, if you're going to bring like the Taylor Swift part, like that's not when push comes to shove and they kick off the game. She has nothing to do with any of this, right? Do you want to see Mahomes, who is an all-time great quarterback, get this thing and do this three-peat that to a lot of people will pull him even with Tom Brady, who took 20-plus years to win 7?
I understand everything you're saying, but I think America is tired of it. I don't know why. They just do not want to see the winning anymore. I mean, I've heard so much anecdotal and social media hatred toward the Chiefs. Who was the guy yesterday? Deebo Samuel. Like, neutral NFL players everywhere are saying you got to knock them off, which I've never seen. I've never seen guys who have no rooting interest just chime in on this one.
Yeah, this is funny. So here is Deebo Samuel, which, by the way, I mean, Deebo, lost 2 Super Bowls to the Chiefs, but also has some major beef with the Eagles. So here's Deebo, admits he's got issues with both, but what's he looking at for this Super Bowl?
So we got the Chiefs and the Eagles. I got love-hate for both. But, I got all love for my brother, A.J. Brown over there, so I definitely want to see him win. I definitely don't want to see Mahomes get the third one. So, yeah, I'm rocking with A.J. and Saquon with this one for sure.
Go Birds! I mean, let's think about it. Deebo Samuel, he should also be hating Philly. I mean, I get it. The players are weighing in here big time. They do not want to see Mahomes and company get to 3 in a row.
I mean, almost everyone I know is desperately rooting against the Chiefs. They hate them. They don't like the Eagles. Don't get me wrong. Nobody likes the Eagles who's not from Philadelphia or South Jersey. But so many people have said, God, this has got to stop. And I don't think it matters what the Chiefs do. Anybody who wins now is going to be hated. No matter what the sport is, this is, for some reason, we don't like dynasties.
You think we've changed as a society? Yeah. Because I think a lot of people were anti-Yankees in the 90s.
Well, definitely.
I think a lot of people turned well, Michael Jordan was very different because he was such a cultural phenomenon. Unless you were like the Knicks or something like that, Detroit, Boston, and really had a rivalry. I think a lot of people were rooting for Jordan, but the Cowboys in the 90s, people did not like.
Of course not. They were the Cowboys of the 90s. But the people like the 80s Niners. Everyone likes Joe Montana.
Yeah, okay. Maybe you're right about that. That was a likable team.
Everyone, by the way, unless you lost them, everybody loved the 85 Bears. I mean, that team is the most popular team in the NFL history.
But they're not a dynasty.
Well, I'm just saying, no, people don't resent. Now they resent winners. Back then, we appreciated winners.
But what if the Bears had gone on the next year to win and the next year to win? I mean,
that team was magic. I just saw a commercial the other day where Matthew McConaughey was doing the Bears.
I know, but we're talking about dynasties, the sustained winning, and how that creates a backlash to people who at first were even very likable. I
like
think
the Warriors,
Steph Curry, it's a huge one. But I think Steph Curry and the Warriors became disliked when the Kevin Durant thing happened. If Durant never joins the team, do they stay likable?
I don't think so. People turned on Curry, and he was a classic underdog. He should have been beloved, but they turned on Curry. And honestly, I think they're going to turn on Caitlin Clark. People just do not like something about people like to build up superstars and then just tear them down. It's the way we do it now. It's kind of the way sports culture is.
The one thing about Caitlin, though, and I'm surprised you brought her up because she hasn't won.
But everybody loves. She's very, very well liked. I'm just saying, eventually, people will turn on because we turn on everybody now. Even why would you dislike Patrick Mahomes? Like, he has never done anything wrong. I mean, yes, he flops a little bit, but not egregiously. He is arguably most creative, talented, never says the wrong thing, like barely ever says the wrong thing. He's like perfect, and people hate him now.
I think it's the flopping. I think it's the trying to get the calls.
That was sweet.
And I think it was the poor losing against Josh Allen last year. But again, that was like a one-off. Seemed to be like a one-off kind of thing where he was basically blaming the refs and was not like a gracious loser. I'll give you the one dynasty I think that people may love because I don't think they resonated in a way that normal dynasties do, which is the Spurs.
Oh, people can't. I mean, that team is just irrelevant.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't think people. It's
They
weird.
didn't love
It's a
or
dynasty that people didn't love or hate. They respected. And then a question: do you count the San Francisco Giants as a dynasty?
No way.
1 year on, 1 year off, but they did win 3 in 5 years.
I do not count that as a dynasty at all, even a little bit. You do? That's like a modern era dynasty.
Do you have to go back to back to make it a dynasty?
And even so, like, they also snuck in 1 year. I remember the year they beat the Phillies. Like, that was.
Yeah, but who cares how you do it as long as you win it all?
No. I think to be a dynasty, you have to dominate the regular season too. You can't just sort of show up in these playoff runs. I'm not sure I agree. The Niners. What was the team?
The Giants.
The Giants, right. The Spurs, their best player was the big fundamental. Like, they were boring as all get out. Kind of the Patriots are a little boring too. They did not play exciting brand of football. Now, the one downside, I think the Chiefs have gotten a little boring football-wise. That is hurting them big time. Like, if they were still the 2019 Chiefs who came out and ran a very fast-paced offense, that might help. Do you think that would be more exciting?
I think that we love and kind of fell in love with Mahomes doing the no-look passes and the left-handed passes. And, now it's not that they're not creative anymore. It's just they're a little bit more straightforward.
Oh, they're terribly boring. It's nothing but 3-yard passes. Remember when he played Jared Goff at night? It was 54-51. I would do anything to get that Chiefs team back. That would be so much more fun.
Damn. 855-212-4227. It is Wednesday, which means it's time for the great debate.
The Great Debate Series.
All right. I'm happy to do this great debate today. I think it's going to be fun. I think our audience is going to like it. And I'm doing this only for the audience because we always say these great debates, Pearl, are loosely based on the news.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't love the motivation behind today's great debate because I have a feeling it's pointed at the quarterback of the team I happen to have a rooting interest for.
The Bills make me wanna.
Today's great debate is the greatest athlete to never win a title. I resent this if you are implying that Josh Allen will never win a title. EJ?
What did I do?
Okay, let's get to the greatest athlete to never win. Perloff, kick us off.
Okay, this seems obvious. Maybe I have NFL in the mind, but it's Dan Marino. There are a lot of great quarterbacks who have not won Super Bowls. Jim Kelly never got one. I'm trying to think of other ones. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. But Dan Marino was superior. Due to 48 touchdowns in 1984. You have to understand, that's like throwing 148 right now. Like, you couldn't, like, a wide receiver would go out on a pattern and 3 guys would tackle him. It was impossible to pass back then. He reinvented the passing game. He had such a ridiculous arm, and he had the quickest release. I think if he had won a couple Super Bowls, might be right there with Tom Brady as the number one quarterback of all time. He's definitely top 5, even without the ring. I put him ahead of Peyton Manning on my all-time list. And I think he's right there with Elway, even though Elway got a couple rings. Dan Marino is definitely the best to not win a championship.
Marino's trying to get everybody on the line of scrimmage. Now, he still has one timeout. They'll save that for the field goal if they have to.
We are seeing another spectacular effort by Marino, who fires. Touchdown!
You know what the Jets are thinking? He's going to take the ball and throw it into the ground.
They stopped.
They all stopped.
Hide that one from our friend down the hall. The fake spike. Dan Marino, we're doing the greatest athletes to never win a title. And for me, I'm going all the way back, but that's because this athlete is that special. And it would be Ted Williams. Ted Williams is the greatest athlete to never win a title. 482 career on-base percentage, still the best of all time. A 634 slugging percentage, second only to Babe Ruth all time. Finished with a career 344 average, 521 home runs, over 2,000 walks, over 1,800 RBI. He hit 388 when he was 38. He hit 328 when he was 39, and he hit 316 when he was 41 years old.
Did you say he had a 489 on base percentage?
482.
For his career?
Yes.
Jeez.
Yes, it's insane. And by the way, 3 full seasons interrupted for military service and fought in 2 different wars.
Wow.
And in the Korean War was the wingman to John Glenn. That doesn't really have anything to do with him being a great athlete. It just deserves to be noted because Ted Williams was an American hero. So Ted Williams as the greatest athlete to never win a title.
In the American League 8, Rip Sewell was on the mound facing Ted Williams with runners on first and second and 2 men away. Rip threw Williams his famous blooper pitch. Let's take a look at the height of that blooper pitch. Ted stepped into it and slammed it out of the park for his second home run of the game, scoring Kramer and Stevens ahead of him.
It's like someone in a studio, like, well done with the sound effects there. EJ finding that old clip. And the one thing about Ted Williams is, as an incredible athlete, never won a title, got to a World Series and went 5 for 25 in that World Series. And a lot of people called him a choker. But he is the greatest athlete to never win a title, in my opinion. EJ, go ahead.
Okay.
Choker, like, geez.
That's what they said. I didn't write it. Blame the Boston media.
Okay,
and
so
he did.
Ted Williams, obviously a legend. Dan Marino, obviously a legend. I'm going to go to hoops, and I'm going to go with the round mound of rebound. Charles Barkley, who 8 times finished top 6 in MVP, was the MVP the first year he got out of Philly to play for the Suns. Came so close to beating the Bulls. If it wasn't for that damn John Paxson. Charles Barkley, I think we all talk about him as the commentator and the lovable guy we see. When he was on the court, he was a killer.
That's the 8th rebound already. Barkley, nobody cut him off. Barkley went all the way for the slam. They call that coast to coast. Big old women.
Barkley was amazing. Coast-to-coast stuff is something you're used to seeing from him. So Charles Barkley is my pick for great debate.
Wait. Does he, I said this to you yesterday, do you get Karl Malone and Ewing and Stockton all, is that all kind of a package in a way, secretly?
I don't need those other guys. Give me Barkley. That's all I got.
So he's better than Karl Malone in your opinion?
Yes.
Manny, greatest
athlete. I got
athlete.
this impression from a guy in the steam room.
To never win a title, too.
I can't believe you didn't go for the low-hanging fruit, by the way, with Jim Kelly and the biggest loser of all time. But I will go with with Patrick Ewing. I'll take the low-hanging fruit. 21-10 for his career, 2-time gold medalist, 11-time All-Star, 86 Rookie of the Year on the 50th and 75th anniversary teams, but always second fiddle to Jordan and Reggie Miller and.
Comes into Tucker. Ewing sets a screen. The shot is off. Loose ball. Ewing goes up. The basket counts.
If only that happened in the NBA Finals, I got Patrick Ewing.
Greatest athlete to never win a title, Bogusch. Why don't you take us home?
Maggie, I'm going to go with you and go old-time baseball here. I was thinking Ted Williams. You texted Ted Williams first, so I jumped easily on Mr. Cub.
Jarvis fires away. That's a fly ball. Beat the left. Back. That's it. Hey! He did it. Ernie Banks got number 500. A line drive shot into the seats and left. The ball tossed in the bullpen. Everybody on your feet. This is it. Whee!
Professional as always on Cubs radio. Back.
No homers there.
Mr. Cub, Ernie Banks, one of the greatest baseball players of all time, 2-time MVP, a Gold Glove winner, 14 All-Star games. But he was a Cub, and we know that drought that lasted for so long, and he was in the middle of all of that. So Ernie Banks, the best to never win a World Series world title.
I mean, what's crazy about Ernie Banks, never played in a playoff game. I mean, it's like at least Ted Williams got to the World Series and lost in a Game 7, but never, ever played a playoff game. It's crazy. All right, the greatest athlete to never win a title, if this was indeed inspired by Josh Allen, then I hate all of you. Because he's only in year 7.
He's not great either.
Bogusch, you would trade Jake for Josh Allen for your Giants.
No, I wouldn't trade. No. I would have traded Jake for Juan Soto, but I didn't have to, so that's good.
I'll trade Jake.
Jake and a draft pick for Josh Allen.
Thankfully, it didn't come to that with Juan Soto. The owner just ponied up the most money. All right. What do you say? We got 2 questions out there. Greatest athlete to never win. And then also, what would you rather see in the Super Bowl? Chiefs to repeat, Chiefs lose. We'll update our poll in just a moment, right after this.
How'd you do last night, Maggie?
Amazing. College basketball has been really good to me, not just because I've been getting on Prize Picks and figuring out exactly who I love to combo together with my favorite hockey stars, NBA as well. And that's what I love about Prize Picks. It's the best place not only to cash in on the Super Bowl and the big game and all of that, but pick 2 players across any sport, pick more or less on their projection. You could win up to 1,000 times your money.
I mean, last night you got to see which Kentucky players are going to bomb out in the first round. That was really cool. You could join Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app, available to play in more than 40-plus states, including California and Texas. That was an unfair shot.
Kentucky was really
because
unfair.
You might get some good scoring totals during the regular season. Just do not go under come tournament time. Join now because Prize Picks is giving away a free pick for the big game where a quarterback will only need to throw 1 yard to win. Oh, that's cool. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code M&P to get a $50 bonus and promo funds instantly when you play $5. That's code M&P on Prize Picks to get a $50 bonus and promo funds instantly when you play just $5. Win or lose, you'll get $50 in bonus credits for just playing, guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game, must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Mand P. You're in a 4-minute break. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
If this world were mine.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. Great debate today. Greatest athlete to not win a championship. I went with Dan Marino. Maggie?
I went with Ted Williams.
EJ?
Sir Charles Barkley.
Manny?
Patrick Ewing.
Bogusch?
Ernie Banks.
We're getting some great ones in the chat.
Yeah,
by the
who
way.
else has been nominated?
Okay, so Jay in Nashville, our pal, has nominated 2 people in our chat, youtube.com/Infinity Sportsnet, twitch.tv/Infinity Sports Network, and on X at Maggie Gray. He had Sean Kemp as one.
My favorite athlete did not win a title. I don't know about greatest.
And Anna Kournikova. Again, fan favorite for many reasons.
That was Jay?
That was Jay. It's a variety, really. It's a spectrum.
I think she won a doubles title. Does that count? A doubles major?
Like a major? No way.
Yeah, I think she did.
Did she win a doubles? I think at one point she was number 1 in the world. I don't know. That doesn't count as
Wait.
winning.
Anna Kournikova was not number 1 in the world.
She never got to number 1 just for the points totals? Maybe
I
not.
don't think so.
Oh, man.
Preview best on EJ loves himself on Anna Kournikova. Let me just say that.
I think
big
you
fan.
and
Post
every
Professor?
other man in America.
Google her now. I don't think anything's changed.
So if you Google her now, it actually comes up as model, not tennis player.
So wait,
next to her name.
Oh, that's disrespectful.
I agree.
That doubles title, I'm surprised, but that'd be interesting.
You're suddenly very interested in the career of Anna Kournikova.
No, I just remember I'm like, oh, well, she's okay at tennis, but
she was ranked as high as number 8 in a singles player. She was number 1 doubles, and she won 2 Australian Open doubles titles.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I don't think she's on this list. She's won.
I don't think that counts.
I was wondering about Patrick Ewing, too, Manny. I get it from the Knicks, but you know he went to college and won, right?
Hey, listen, I put that disclaimer out in the group chat, and it said it was okay. So
no, he gets lumped in with Barkley and Malone all the time.
All right.
Yeah, too, yeah.
More from the chat in terms of greatest athletes to never win a title. Barry Bonds, Reggie Miller.
That's a good one.
And then one more, and 2 more that I'm kind of bummed that I didn't go with. Barry Sanders. You know, our love for Barry on the show. Deep love. And then Bo Jackson.
Well, Bo Jackson's different.
Yeah, Bo's different because his career got cut so short.
His career got short.
But Barry really is probably the answer here. If we're going not just great careers, but also if we want to take a literal interpretation, like who was the best like physical tools athlete, don't you think Sanders is actually the answer here?
Oh, I don't know. Physical tools athlete. I guess so. I mean, then you get in the NBA because they're probably the best athletes in the world.
Right, like a Vince Carter or Anthony Edwards, a guy who hasn't won yet, something like that.
Define athlete. How do you define athleticism? Like jumping ability?
I don't know, like coordination and power and
agility.
Yeah, that kind of thing. I
Because
think
there are other
Barry's
people
got it all.
argue what Ted Williams could do is the hardest athletic achievement.
People do say that hitting a fastball is the hardest thing to do in sports.
I'm looking, by the way, the NBA list of all-time players. The ESPN did like a definitive list, and the highest player to not win a title was number 20, Elgin Baylor. And then 22 was Charles Barkley, and 23 was Karl Malone. Those are the three highest guys to not win a title. The Ewing's like 25.
Monty's in the chat,
Yeah.
Randy Moss.
Their list is wrong.
Randy Moss, the greatest athlete to never win a title. Who else do we have in here? Gale Sayers. There you go. So keep them coming, guys. Greatest athletes to never win. Sean is our pal in Oregon. Sean, who tops the list?
Well, you guys got some real good ones there, but I'm going to put the mailman on there. The mailman was 11-time All-NBA first team. Karl Malone was first team. Patrick
Barkley.
Ewing was first team one time.
Okay.
Barkley was only first team 5 times.
Well,
Patrick
only
Ewing was
5
never-
times. That's a lot of times.
Well, not compared to 11 times. I mean, you're talking to mailman. I'm on the West Coast. I sat 8th row and watched the Blazers close him out a couple times. I remember in '99 when he won his MVP, I was sitting there. Those guys, they were heartbroken. And then I went on and watched the Blazers go Western Conference Finals and lose against Tim Duncan.
Mm-hmm.
And a great game last night. I'm a basketball guy. I mean, I only watched half of that Bills game the other night because I was watching the Blazers game. And great trade. I'm really glad to see Damian Lillard over there, and we came out really good last night. I'm really good to see Blazers doing great.
Well, Sean, we love the Blazers around here. Here's a couple things. Does Damian Lillard end up on this list? The other thing, Karl Malone versus Barkley, right, is generally the debate that you would see would be Malone versus Barkley, who was better. I mean, listen, Malone peak lasted way longer, but Barkley's peak was probably higher.
They're just different. Malone was relentless, and he was always in better shape than everybody else in the NBA. He just ran the lanes harder than anybody. I mean, I'm a Barkley fan. I could see giving Malone an edge, and he's probably a little bit closer than Charles to knocking off the Bulls, but I think they're about the same.
My only beef with, not beef Malone, but like to compare Malone and Barkley, I would say give Charles Barkley 20 years of John Stockton feeding him the rock, and let's see what his numbers are. I mean, he had a couple years with Kevin Johnson, and he went to the finals and was MVP.
Yeah, right.
Like, so when he had a wingmate that caliber, he was arguably the best player in the NBA, not named Jordan.
Well, would you agree that Karl Malone was more dedicated to fitness than Charles Barkley throughout his career? I think that's one argument for Malone. I mean, he was peak shape. He wasn't that talented, which is funny. I think he made the most of his ability.
But they do have some big old women.
Jared is in the chat. Allen Iverson and Joe Thornton.
Ooh, okay.
So
Joe Thornton didn't win?
Keep them coming, guys.
He played for 25 years and couldn't get a Stanley Cup.
Wasn't he in Colorado? I thought, no, he missed that.
Jared also says Vince Carter and LaDainian Tomlinson.
Ooh, I like the LT.
LT's a good one.
Yep. Great one. Keep them coming, guys. Greatest athletes to never win a title. The Anna Kournikova love.
Jay won this debate.
That really took off in the chat. Shocker. Bogusch has headlines for us. Say, Bogusch.
Joe Thornton is in Colorado. Could you not let me talk hockey, Bogusch? Jeez Louise.
I was just trying to move on quickly.
Me too.
Kansas men's basketball hasn't lost back-to-back games at Fog Allen Fieldhouse in 36 years. They lost to Houston over the weekend. They were down 9 to UCF shortly after halftime last night.
Tip by Hunt, misses. Tipped about Flory's got it. KU will keep. Out to Zeke. He takes a three. He makes a three. Zeke Mayo with the late-night celebration. It's his 6th triple tonight.
Brian Haney from Learfield. Zeke Mayo scored 24 as the 11th-ranked Kansas avoided that mini history with the 91-87 win over UCF. Number 12, Kentucky, a 78-73 win at 8th-ranked Tennessee. Number 9, Marquette fought off Butler, 78-69. And number 21, Louisville stayed hot, 72-59 over Wake Forest. The Cardinals have now won 10 in a row. In the NBA, the Rocket win streak is 4 after a 196 win in Atlanta. And Tyrese Maxey scored 43 in a rare Sixers win, 118-104 over the Lakers. LA also losing Anthony Davis in the first half to an abdominal muscle strain.
I really don't give a f***.
We're now told that Mike McCarthy will take the coming season off and then look for a job next winter. The former Cowboys coach connected to the Saints opening but did not have an interview scheduled with New Orleans. Browns GM Andrew Berry said yesterday Myles Garrett not available this offseason. Garrett has 2 years left on his current deal. He said during the season that he wanted to know more about the team's plans for the future before signing anything new. Trading him could have brought back multiple pieces to help the Browns fix their roster. The Phoenix Mercury will look much different next WNBA season. Brittany Griner is leaving for Atlanta via free agency. That news came last night, shortly after reports that the Mercury were trading for Connecticut All-Star forward Alyssa Thomas, and we still don't know if Diana Taurasi is going to retire. And finally, our other Connor was showing off last night.
He faked the drop pass, carries the puck down to the right corner, fires, he scores! What a shot by Connor Bedard!
Oh, my goodness.
Whoa! How did he find that opening? This is over the shoulder of Johansson and into the top shelf. Folks, you got to see this shot.
That's from Chicago radio. I can't let you see it either. But Bedard put the puck basically between the goalie's left ear and the top corner, tight angle, part of a 4-1 win in Tampa Bay.
Amazing. Perloff's one of his favorite Connors. Did you guys see the story about the potato chip recall? Did anyone else see this?
No, enough with the bad news.
I'm sorry. I feel like I'm doing a public service. Apparently, this is a really big deal. The certain ounce bag of Lay's just straight regular potato chips.
Oh, okay. I don't eat those.
13-ounce bags of Lay's potato chips apparently have undeclared milk, which could be potentially fatal. I don't know why that happened, but or how that happens, but it's a Class 1 recall.
Milk?
This is like DEFCON 1 or 5. I never know what's the important one. Anyway, 13-ounce bags of Lay's potato chips, guys. Stay away.
You said undeclared milk?
That's what they said.
Like that because it's not on the label? That's what's not declared?
They haven't decided if they're Democrat or Republican. I'm sorry, that's independent.
He's got 3 school hats in front of him. Which milk's he going to be?
He's not sure if it's Georgia, Florida, or the other milk.
Or 2%.
Or Fritos. Yeah, undeclared milk, they said. I have no idea what that is.
Why would milk be in potato chips? I'm still stuck on that.
I don't know, TJ. I wish I could tell you. But those with an allergy or severe sensitivity to milk run the risk of a serious or life-threatening allergic reaction if they consume the recalled product.
Like that, lactose losers.
Jesus, Manny.
Manny Milks.
Manny. Yeah, this is bad. Washington and Oregon specifically. I know we're on in both of those states. Think about it.
I feel like
minding your own business. Just open up a bag of potato chips, eat with your sandwich.
I feel like this stuff happens and like nothing happens to the corporation. It's just like, well, we'll be eating Lay's in a couple months and we'll just forget it. They almost killed half the population with milk, with undeclared milk.
Forget a few months. In a few weeks, the Super Bowl is right around the corner.
This is not a good time to have a chip recall.
Yeah, they probably have a great commercial on Super Bowl Sunday being like, hey, look at that commercial.
I don't know if you guys saw this, but like with some of these recalls, how long do you go without buying the product? So a couple weeks ago, there was an organic carrot recall.
Yes.
You guys remember this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we tend to buy those when we go grocery shopping.
Mm-hmm.
We're carrot fans in our house. And so how long do you not buy them for? We went like 2 cycles without buying them.
Didn't that one have like a lot number on it? Like, wasn't there a way to identify which bags would have been contaminated?
Didn't go that far. Just threw them out.
Oh, okay. Because sometimes they do somehow know which like grouping of like or which shipments were affected, and that like lets you know that you're safe to keep eating the other ones.
You're going to read the lot number? That's kind of a lot.
To avoid poisoning?
Salmonella?
I'll take that.
E. coli?
Yeah, I'll take that risk. I'll read.
It's like, is that a 4, 8, 7 bag? On an unrelated note, do you guys, or slightly related, do you guys ever get random things in the mail that you're part of a class action lawsuit?
All the time.
Yes.
I do too. Have you ever made good on any of those?
Nope.
Like, I'm going to get my 40 cents because it turns out my bank has been overcharging me for withdrawals for 10 years.
Nope. I got one for a cell phone recently, and I think PlayStation, and I don't know what either one entails, and I have no effort in me to, like,
PlayStation? Is this like the Ed O'Bannon lawsuit?
I don't know.
Sorry, Bogusch. MLB The Show was too hard. Here's 5
No,
cents.
FIFA's too hard. MLB The Show I can handle.
You suck at FIFA.
Sorry.
What do you guys play online together?
Severe carpal tunnel.
I would destroy him.
That needs to happen, by the way. Can we put that on the Twitch
No,
stream?
it's bad enough when I get hammered by my 11-year-old. I'm not letting Manny do anything to me on a video game. No thanks.
Do you realize if you are winning a video game competition against someone who's 11 at your age, like, that's not a good sign, man. You're supposed to be losing to 11-year-olds.
I don't mind losing. I mind the way in which I lose.
Got it. Humiliating.
Yes. That I don't need to be shamed by my son. He can beat me. That's fine. He should beat me, but I don't want to look like I have no hands while I'm playing. It's like all thumbs up
Why
there.
is Daddy playing with his feet?
What was that goal you were talking about? The top shelf by the left ear?
Yeah, no chance.
3 of those. Yeah. I don't know. Do you play video games with your kids, bro?
Oh, yeah. I dominate. I get killed in every game. We're a big...
Fortnite.
No, I watch Fortnite. Do you guys watch Fortnite? That's all I do.
I can't. It makes me dizzy.
Yeah, I watch Fortnite.
You watch other people
the
play
famous
Fortnite?
racing game, Mario Kart.
Oh,
Mario Kart.
Yeah.
That's what we need to play. I would smoke y'all in Mario Kart.
I think we all think we'd smoke each other in Mario Kart because even I play that one.
I have the Mario Kart like edition thing where you can you put the gates around your house and then you drive and it makes your house the course.
That's fire.
It's amazing.
And I know in Tokyo, you could just get in you can get in a cart and drive around like you're in Mario Kart.
Wait a minute. Hold on. You're uploading the data and the footprint of your home onto a video game device?
It's a palatial estate he has.
I don't know about
Billy Madison's house.
Like uploading anything, but it's just you can put things. It's called home circuit. You can put things like the gates that you would drive through in the game around the house. And I guess there's a little car. I'm trying to remember now, with the camera, and you can see yourself. You put your house in the game. It's really cool.
I don't know. It just feels like you're kind of putting your house out on the internet, but
it's not on the internet. I'm playing.
It's just you
playing it on my Switch.
All right.
He's concerned about the Nintendo executives,
I am,
swatting
man.
Bogus's house or something.
Who else is going to be if not me?
There's nothing fun going on in there. You can look all you want. You got nothing to hide.
I believe it.
Wait, no, you got cool parties where you're passing out at 8 p.m. and everyone else is having a good time.
I've heard that party was cool. I wasn't around to see it, but I did make it.
The photos say Bogusch had a great time.
But that was 2 years ago. This year, I was awake the entire time.
Wait, who's your character if you play Mario Kart?
Koopa Troopa, great on turns.
Koopa's good. I do Luigi. It's weird because I'm an older brother, but.
Pearl?
I'm not even sure the name. I just pick word at random ones.
You
I didn't
don't
know
have
that
a preferred.
Yeah, no, I feel bad now.
It's definitely not based on the game. Good on turns. Donkey Kong's cool, so I'll pick him. But I don't know what his driving skills are.
Well, Donkey Kong's mad strong. You just body people.
You guys know which cart? You have one cart that you use?
Yeah.
Yeah, Princess Peach for me. Big Princess Peach guy.
Yeah, I think I'm going to get smoked by you guys.
If you haven't been scouting not only yourself, but the other drivers in Mario Kart, are you even playing the game?
Exactly.
And judging by the time that me and Boyle raced Maggie in the hallway, Maggie is going to kill all of us.
Yep.
That
was a speed walk.
Yeah.
That concerns me a little bit.
Yeah. The competition level to my right is too hard to handle.
All right, so I get competitive, and now it's a me problem. Why don't you guys stop mailing it in?
I'm not ducking smoke. I'm just saying. I saw what happened.
Let's go back to our great debate, the greatest athletes to never win a title. William is in California. Who do you have, Will?
Yes, good morning. I think of one athlete well before any of our time, well before my parents' time, and that was the great hitter, Ty Cobb. He got to one World Series, I believe, early in his career. Didn't win, but I don't think he ever went back to a World Series. But he was a career, I think, 367, 368 hitter who belongs on this list. There's a number of hitters and baseball players in the modern era that didn't make this list.
Yeah.
Possibly. But Ty
Barry
Cobb,
Bonds, Ken Griffey. I mean, there are some amazing modern day guys who didn't make it. William, thank you for the call. I'm looking here that Ty Cobb actually appeared in the World Series 3 times, 1907, 1908, and 1909, if I'm reading this correctly, but never won.
Yeah. Big name.
I mean, I felt a little bad going back to Ted Williams, going back to the 40s and 50s, because I'm like, can you call someone who played that long ago one of the greatest of all time? But Williams' numbers are so amazing. Can you go back to Ty Cobb playing in the 1900s?
That feels like a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah, I feel like Williams is a little safer, but I mean, he definitely, if you look up, I assume if their list of greatest players, Ty Cobb is certainly, he's an iconic name for better or worse. Obviously, his personality was not awesome. I saw the movie with Tommy Lee Jones.
Was either.
Well, because he's got his head frozen, you mean?
No, Ted Williams, I don't think was a picnic. I mean, he would say that.
Yeah, but Ty Cobb was.
Oh, was it outright racist?
To a complete different level. Ty Cobb was a huge curmudgeon. Ted Williams was prickly, but I think Ty Cobb was famously hated.
Yeah.
Like that line in Field of Dreams, we wouldn't let Ty Cobb come back because everyone hated him. That's my basis of this.
Or just
take.
Like anyone who played like pre-desegregation, can you really call them the best? Because were they playing against the best?
Yeah, but you could compare them. One thing about Babe Ruth and Ted Williams, you could say, well, Babe Ruth hit 60 homers when the next closest guy was 27 or something. So there is... at least that's at one point where they're so much more dominant than everybody. And it was also the number one sport in the country back then. Everybody wanted to play it. So nowadays, like, Americans don't care about baseball. Like, they're not even trying to get into it. They're trying to get into football and basketball, right? So, like, it doesn't matter. The same. I think it counts more like what Willie Mays did, because then everybody wanted to play baseball. Like, to me, there's no way like a player today counts the same. But that's my take.
I find it rather interesting that Ty Cobb never won a World Series, considering that, I mean, they had 10 teams back in the bigs back then, and he never won one?
Yeah, how did Barry Bonds never win one?
Well, but Bonds, there were 30 teams.
He also struggled in the playoffs. Some of that was his fault.
That is true, too.
But it's just a point. An individual cannot win in baseball like other sports.
Totally. 855-212-4227. Okay, lots more to do. Keep them coming. Greatest athletes to never win a title. And how about this? Andrew Perloff goes against the grain next.
Down in Music City, there's a man named Jay. He's tuned in to Maggie and Perloff every single day. Life's been a battle, he's been losing for years, but now his motto's clear: no more losing tears. He's been down, he's been low, but now he's ready for a brand new show. Jay's got questions, can't let it slide. Who's running to YouTube on the infinity side? Jay in Nashville calling out the crew. Who's behind the curtain? He demands the truth. Peter Bummelotti's ghosting, no work in sight, but Jay's got the Maggie and Perloff show to make it right. Make it right. Been a loser so long, my losing's all gone. Tapped out my bad luck, it's time to move on. From his couch in Nashville, he's solving the case. Infinity's mystery, he's all over the place. He's got theories, he's got plans. Is it Moose or Perloff behind the cams? And Bellotti, forget it, he's MIA. Jay's the one who's showing up today. Jay in Nashville calling out the crew. Who's behind the curtain? He demands the truth. Peter Bummelotti's ghosting, no work in sight, but Jay's got the Maggie and Perloff show to make it right. Make it right. Jay's turning his luck, rising up the ranks. Infinity answers, he's storming the banks. Bellotti might miss it, but Jay's always there, with a sharp-eye question and a comfy chair. Jay in Nashville calling out the crew. Who's behind the curtain? He demands the truth. Peter Bummelotti's ghosting, no work in sight, but Jay's got the Maggie and Perloff show to make it right. Jay in Nashville, he's taking the stage. From loser to legend, he's turning the page. Infinity's mystery, Bellotti's no show. Jay's the real MVP of the Maggie and Perloff show.
it kale and lettuce, then gives it a little kiss. Andrew Bogusch's turtles got a mansion in the tank with a slide, a tiny hammock, and a treasure chest bank. Two-tone Tony rolls in, his turtles got swag, cruising slow but steady, repping that reptile flag. Meanwhile, Kevin LaMelle's got tacos on his plate. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, he's got no time to wait. Turtle love, taco dreams, Andrew living supreme. Two-ton Tony, slow and steady crew. Kevin's got breakfast tacos, what's Peter gonna do? Yo, Perloff's turtles chillin', basking in the heat. Bogusch's turtles flexing, got gold chains on its feet. Tony's turtles on TikTok, racking up views, while Kevin's tacos sizzle, serving up the news. But Pilates MIA, not a damn thing new. Work? Nah, he'd rather just hit snooze. We're out here
45 seconds
hustling,
remaining.
making turtles the stars. And
30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. Great debate Wednesday. Greatest player to never win a title. I think I can tell already the name you feel most guilty about.
I feel bad for leaving Barry Sanders off.
But Barry Sanders, is he above Dan Marino, my choice?
I mean, maybe. Yeah, I think you can make an argument for sure.
I think the thing about Marino, though, is quarterbacks are judged by their championships. Running backs can only do so much to win a title. So I feel like Barry might have been a greater player than Dan Marino, but Dan Marino is a better answer on this list, is what I'm claiming. Did we put up a poll, EJ, with all the choices here?
Yes, we did. So we put up the poll, who is the greatest athlete to never win a Super Bowl?
But they would never win a championship. I'll bet you I know who's winning the poll.
Yes.
I think it's Maggie's choice, Ted Williams.
Yeah, so Ted Williams has 65% right now. Yeah. Dan Marino's at 25%. We have Charles Barkley at 6% and Ernie Banks at 2%.
Shut up, EJ. Because when we were doing this topic yesterday, I have to admit I had no idea Ted Williams never won a championship. He's Ted Williams. How did he become so darn famous and never won? It's a Red Sox thing, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
But Ted Williams is more famous, like the splendid splinter, greatest hitter of all time, tried to have his head frozen. Like, I never even think about the fact that he never won a title. I just think of him at that label as probably the prettiest swing maybe ever. I think that's how he's judged.
Oh, yeah. I mean, greatest hitter of all time, greatest left-hand hitter of all time. But here's the thing about first of all, has anyone ever confirmed the frozen head thing?
No, I have no idea.
Yeah, that was like a Walt Disney, Ted Williams.
I think that there might be something to that he was trying to do some sort of extending life thing.
So cloning. He was trying to clone, right? That was the whole point.
Oh, I thought
cloning? But then why just the head?
I thought he was trying to freeze his body.
The whole body?
Well, we'll get it.
EJ, can you do a little
cloning?
research on
Ted Williams was into cloning.
This is all news to me, by the way.
You've heard of cloning?
Yeah, I've heard of cloning and freezing your head because of Walt Disney, but I didn't know Ted Williams, swung at this.
Yeah, I mean, that's the rumor. I didn't look it up to see if it was true or not.
CBS News, Ted Williams, I don't even want to read it out loud.
Don't.
But yeah, it's definitely, this is CBS News. Yeah, he did have parts of his body frozen.
But it was for cloning, so we can have a second greatest hitter of all time with just Ted Williams. I don't even know actually how cloning works. I should know this because I feel like in my childhood when they cloned a sheep finally, it was like such a big deal. I think Barbra Streisand cloned one of her dogs.
Wait, no. Wait, this wasn't music cloning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, he wanted to come back to life or something.
I mean, I'm reading this article from, I don't know.
Good luck, Ted.
98 or whatever. It says the daughter Ted Williams has accused her half-brother, John Henry Williams, of moving their father's body from Florida to another place where bodies are frozen. She says John Henry Williams wants to preserve their father's DNA, perhaps to sell it in the future. The brother has not returned repeated calls for comment.
Wait, what year was that?
It was a SI report, right?
I'm trying to figure out the year. For some reason, it doesn't show. But this is
I have this
like ESPN article. Like the ESPN webpage looks crazy. Like it looks like something from like the 90s.
So he didn't pass away though until 2002.
So maybe it was 2000. It was around then.
Okay.
December 20th, 2002, CBS News. He died on July 5th, 2002.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there was a lot going on there. He was, a lot of the films say he was became a bit of a strange guy.
Yeah. No, he definitely was. Well, it depends. You know, I think he was very maniacal about becoming the greatest hitter of all time, and also had a really terrible relationship with the press in Boston. You know, there were 11 newspapers that were covering him when he was playing.
Yeah, baseball
in the
was
40s and 50s in Boston. That's crazy.
Baseball was it back then. It was like the NFL, but even bigger, I think.
Jeff's in Tucson. Jeff, greatest athlete to never win a title is who?
Well, I wanted to get on the poll, but Ted Williams is probably the top of the line. That was a good guess. How about two other ones? Dan Fouts and Fran Tarkenton.
Two great ones. We didn't bring up Dan Fouts yesterday. Fran Tarkenton, though, did make it in our little newsroom discussion. Jeff, thanks so much. Drive safely. Yeah, I mean, Fouts is fantastic. Chargers franchise just cursed.
Unfortunately, went to a very cold Cincinnati, and that great year, they lost their chance. I don't think Dan Fouts is quite on the Marino Kelly. I think this is just my opinion, maybe a notch below Marino and Kelly. Kelly went to 4 Super Bowls. Fouts never even made a Super Bowl. Tarkenton went to 4 Super Bowls, I believe, or no, maybe 3. And so I get it. They belong on the list, but not high on the list.
Adam's in Vancouver. Adam, who's the greatest player to never win a title?
I'm going to throw 2 at you this morning. I'm going to go Daniel and Henrik Sedin.
The Sedins are a great choice, but one thing, Adam, am I right or wrong? Did they win an Olympic gold, though, with Sweden?
They did win Olympic gold. Yes, you're right, but never won the big one, the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Who cares about Olympic gold? Does that mean Carmelo doesn't belong on this list because he won Olympic gold? That doesn't count.
I'm just saying, I think Carmelo gets a lot of credit because he won at Syracuse. He won in college. And you win Olympic gold. And I think Olympic gold in hockey really means something. That's not where you have the dream team and then you're playing, Angola, no disrespect. The hockey, everyone's good. Right?
Oh, yeah, everyone's good for sure, but a lot of players are measured by how many cups they win.
Definitely.
Especially when it become Hall of Famers, which they are.
No doubt. Adam, that's a great one. The Sedins never won.
I actually think the college championship, and getting back to basketball for a second, it almost makes Patrick Ewing not winning in the NBA worse because he was arguably the most dominant, well, besides Kareem, the most dominant college center we've ever seen. Like, that doesn't make it easier that he didn't win an NBA title. He was supposed to win an NBA title. They froze the darn envelope for him. He was supposed to be the generational guy. So I think in a way that accentuates that he didn't win a championship. Helping you out, Manny.
Is that true? You have such a dominant college career that it's a disappointment if you don't win in the pros. Like Reggie Bush didn't win in the pros. Is that disappointing?
I mean,
or something
Reggie
like
Bush
that?
didn't even come close. But no, in basketball.
Tebow, Cam Newton.
In basketball, though, to be that dominant, if you told me if you see the highlights of Hakeem going against Ewing, that only Hakeem would win a title out of that you'd say, oh, what a disappointment for Ewing. Right? I mean, he probably should have won.
By the way, Bush has a championship, Maggie.
What's that?
Bush is a Super Bowl champion.
Who did he win with?
He won the Saints. He was hurt. He was hurt by the end of the year.
Oh, he was on that game. He was on that team?
Yes, he was.
Oh, I'm sorry. Reggie Bush, Super Bowl champ. But he didn't play in the game.
No, because he got injured midseason.
Okay.
He broke his leg, I think.
Reggie Bush, the former Buffalo Bill?
He was a former Bill. Thank you,
Reggie
Manny.
Bush played on the Bills?
Yeah, he did.
How long?
6 games, maybe 7. I don't even know if he made the whole season.
He finished with negative 3 yards on the season.
2 things from the chat. Calvin Johnson, another one of the greatest athletes to never win a title, and the chat seems to like Yoshi as their Mario Kart avatar. 855-212-4227 full-service show. We never got Perloff's Against the Grain. We'll do that in the next hour. Come on back. We also have to answer the question, do you want to see the Chiefs three-peat or do you want to see them lose? Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
What would you rather see? Chiefs three-peat, Chiefs lose? Kind of all about the Chiefs in this Super Bowl. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, which is a little weird because, Perloff, you are the Eagles fan around here, so we get a lot of Eagles talk.
Yeah.
And it's not like the Eagles are a bad team.
Eagles are a popular team, too. They get a lot of prime time. They get gigantic ratings. Any NFC East team does. But I would say of the top 25 games every year, the Eagles are in there 8 or 9 times. The Chiefs are overwhelming right now because of the three-peat. I mean, that is the story.
It absolutely is. It feels like this is either going to be a coronation where the Chiefs now can lay claim to maybe being the greatest football dynasty of all time, which is going to be up for debates between now and the end of time if they can do it. You know, what's greater, to be able to do 3 in a row or do what the Patriots did, which is 6 over 20 years, and Brady obviously has 7. And
I mean, the Packers probably have a claim too.
Packers, what about the Steelers? What about the Cowboys? I mean, but here's the thing. If you do something that no one has ever done, you automatically, I think, leapfrog a lot of these other dynasties. But you tell us at 855-212-4227. And then there's like a specific part of this, which is, Perloff, not to put words in your mouth, I think you feel there's something about sports today where people don't want to see greatness just for the sake of seeing greatness. The idea of knocking the Chiefs down a peg is more appealing to sports fans than seeing a team achieve something they've never done.
Well, the reason I think that is every reason that I've asked you and EJ and the fans why you don't like the Chiefs, nobody has one reason. Everybody has a different reason, and they're all stupid.
Well, the winning isn't stupid if you resent the winning.
But no one comes out and says, I don't like the Chiefs because they win too much. Everyone else, that's why they really don't like them. But they come up with some excuse about something else. All the excuses are thin, right? I mean, to me, every single one of them individually does not add up. That's how I feel. Like, I mean, EJ has a scroll of 100 things.
PowerPoint presentation for why you should hate the Chiefs, or why he does.
But yesterday you mentioned because they didn't have to earn it, like they just came up too fast and they're not the underdog. That's ridiculous because they went 50 years without a Super Bowl. They were the Lions for a huge chunk of their franchise, or that people don't like them because their families are annoying. Like, that's off limits. Like, everybody's family's annoying. Do you know anyone? Do you have a single friend who doesn't have an annoying relative? Of course. Taylor Swift, that makes no sense to me. Like, we don't like them. He's a Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift tickets, it was the hardest ticket in the history of concerts to ever get. She's obviously quite popular. That's why we don't like her. Maybe the officials thing. But again, now all that is getting completely gutted by all the numbers.
Well, not like really. Chiefs, the extra 200 penalty yards that they've gained in the postseason, like, maybe it's just because they play more games than everyone in the postseason, but they are getting some home cooking.
All the stats are showing that. I mean, Josh Allen gets way more roughing penalties than Patrick Mahomes.
But let's talk about the playoffs, not the whole season. Let's talk about the postseason. But here's the thing. Yeah. I can't really begrudge them because, A, they have a lot of home games, so you got to expect a couple calls are going to go your way. Right. That's just sports. And 2, they did go on the road last year. They beat my Bills. They beat the Ravens. They went to the Super Bowl.
I mean, the Bills definitely get more calls. Like, all the experts are coming out with numbers that the Bills have been getting more penalty luck than the Chiefs.
But not in the postseason, and not in the head-to-head games that they play.
I think they have. I think you ought to check that. I saw Mitch Holthus.
You ought to check it. I'll tell you this. Doesn't feel like it. Doesn't feel like it.
Everyone says that Mahomes is getting all these penalties. He was the eighth lowest or 8th highest in roughing rate.
I know, but again, take out the regular season. I just want the postseason.
I don't think it's that wildly different in the postseason. He doesn't get as many roughing calls as most of the other quarterbacks. Like,
well, maybe people are being a little more disciplined in the postseason.
I don't think he runs as much as some of the other quarterbacks. Like, Josh Allen takes off 12 times a game. That's probably part of it, but No, I mean, I think a lot of this officiating stuff has fallen apart upon closer inspection. But even so, why is that their fault? What did the Chiefs do? They're not the officials.
I think it's the whining for calls, but a lot of quarterbacks whine for calls. And by the way, you should be whining for calls if you're a quarterback. I think you should. I think coaches should be working the officials from the beginning of the game, and I think the players should be trying to get calls. I'm not going to begrudge somebody that. But here's the thing, Pro. Just because there's not one reason doesn't mean there aren't, valid multiple reasons. Like what I said, which is it doesn't feel like the Chiefs really had to face any true adversity. Like the thing about Michael Jordan, he lost for 7 years before he was able to finally win, right? There was like some real hard times. The Chiefs lost to the Tom Brady Patriots in the AFC Championship game on an offsides call and then won the Super Bowl the next year.
Well, I mean, you're saying Mahomes.
Mahomes, yeah.
As a starter. But, I mean, Reed lost more than anybody.
Yeah, I don't see Reed as an underdog. Maybe now because they've won so much, but even with Philadelphia.
Well, I mean, you just called Michael Jordan an underdog for losing in the playoffs.
Until he started to win.
He wasn't an underdog. He was still Michael Jordan. I'm not sure. I just don't think it was too easy for the Chiefs. The other thing, the Chiefs are definitely, think of the 90s Cowboys, top picks all over the field. The Chiefs are not built that way. They're built a lot of journeymen, a lot of later round picks. The Cowboys had Troy Aikman, number 1 pick. They had, what was the guy? Their number 1 pick on defensive tackle, Russell Maryland. They had Dion was a number 4 pick. They had Evan Smith was a 17 pick. The Chiefs are mostly non-first rounders or late first rounders, and also a lot of like Juju Smith-Schuster was a hero in the AFC title game. He was basically cut from the NFL.
Yeah,
they pull guys out of nowhere and bring them into this system. I think they're kind of a bunch of underdogs. And Mahomes, I know you poo-pooed this yesterday. Mahomes was definitely not a sure thing. He was a 3-star. Wasn't really supposed to be here. Went to Texas Tech. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but he was a first-round quarterback. Do you think Lamar Jackson is an underdog because he went late in the first round? I don't think people call him thought he was an underdog story. So,
Lamar came. But I'm just saying, it's not like Mahomes was handed anything. Mahomes kind of acts like a mid-major quarterback. That guy's. He does not come off as hoity or I'm like Trevor Lawrence, anything was handed to me. I feel like Mahomes plays like a guy who was not recruited by the University of Texas. Guy's got a chip just like Tom Brady.
Okay, he's a killer and he wants to win, but he is also very confident, dude.
Yeah. But he's definitely had
I don't think that he's lacking for any type of, they know they're good.
But he has the same underdog story as all the other greats, under-recruited. I mean, it's his only offers were Houston, Rice, and Texas Tech. He definitely was not
He played in a division. He played in the Big 12. That's not.
I mean, come on.
He didn't play in the Big East of football.
Dude went to Texas Tech. We're talking about the NFL here. Look around the drafts. You're not seeing a lot of Texas Tech quarterbacks going top 10.
I know, and his coach is a coach in the NFL. They all left. They did go on to higher things than Texas Tech, but it's a major program.
Right, but is that he's definitely not a guy where you said his journey to the NFL was too easy. He was nothing like that.
He was a first-round pick who came in, got to sit for a year behind a quarterback that showed him the ropes, and I don't think Alex Smith was gatekeeping secrets to him at all. And then literally his first year starting, he goes to the AFC Championship game. What is challenging? I mean, yes, personal challenges, whatever, but sports challenges? I think in order to be a somewhat likable dynasty, you have to have one of your stars truly has to lay claim to being an underdog. And I'm sorry, 3-star out of high school, considering what he did after, doesn't count. Tom Brady at pick 199, that counted.
But everyone hated the Patriots.
Well, because they started cheating and stuff. Steph Curry being undersized, even though he was a first-round pick.
He was picked higher than Patrick Mahomes.
He was a top 10 pick, no doubt. But Curry feels like an underdog story. Davidson is a much smaller program than Texas Tech. I mean, not even close. And so I think you need somebody who represents something of an underdog. And Mahomes does not fit the criteria, in my opinion.
No, but he's definitely the Chiefs are not front runners. This was easy for us. Kelsey's a 3rd-round pick, Chris Jones a 2nd-round pick. They're not. This definitely is not a team of whoa, we're just superior talented. We just got all the high picks. I feel like they're a group where it kind of elevates their talent level. Pacheco is a 7th-round pick. He feels like an underdog.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that they're, you know what I'm saying? They're not a wildly talented, it's not a dream team field by any means.
I don't know. I'm seeing McDuffie is an all-pro. Chris Jones turned himself into an all-pro. George Karlaftis is a first-round pick. Xavier Worthy is a first-round pick. Mahomes a first-round pick. Their offensive line is graded really high. Like their
offensive line is a hodgepodge.
Their coach is going to the Hall of Fame. Their defensive coordinator should be going to the Hall of Fame as a coordinator. They've got tons of talent.
They're not the Heatles with LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh. And also, everyone you name was picked after 25. They're definitely not like just some supremely talented team. Like, there's no way. There are other teams in NFL history you can look and say, whoa, Hall of Famer, Hall of Famer, Hall of Famer, Hall of Famer. They're closer to the Patriots, where it was a Hall of Fame quarterback and then fill around a lot of guys.
You don't think guys from the Chiefs are going to the Hall of Fame?
I think Chris Jones, Travis Kelce, and Mahomes.
What about McDuffie?
I mean, McDuffie's in his third year, probably, but I mean, it's not like the Steelers who had 14 Hall of Famers. No, they were much closer to the Patriots, which is Tom Brady and they're definitely not like a Hall of Fame laden team.
What about Tyreek Hill?
Yeah, I mean, do you know how many guys on the Steelers and the Cowboys in the 70s were in the Hall of Fame?
Well, let's see, because this team is not done winning potentially. Like. What if they had kept L'Jarius Sneed and he keeps winning? Like, is there a path for him? There's going to be a lot of guys who end up getting into the Hall of Fame off of this team. And you got a Hall of Fame coach, which also helps.
You just came off an AFC title game. Juju Smith-Schuster of all guys was torching you. Like, they go all over the place on this team. They're so much like the Patriots to me, and their defensive plays. They lost Sneed. Everyone's like, oh, this room's in trouble. Then they find another guy. They're just they're really, to me, a team in the true sense of the word, where they elevate a lot of guys. They're really good at taking guys out of nowhere and making better. That's my opinion on them. If you guys see them differently because they got George Karlaftis out of Purdue, maybe. So
there are some interesting stats here. By the way, you can weigh in at 855-212-4227. Would you rather see the Chiefs win 3 in a row, which would be 4 overall for the Mahomes-Reid era, 3 in a row, or lose in the Super Bowl? This came from, is this Fox, EJ, this graphic? Yes. First things first. Okay, credit to them. Last 3 seasons, including the playoffs, it's a side-by-side between Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts. And the stats are just almost identical. Mahomes, 48-10 record. Hurts, 42-12. Team points per game, 25 for Patrick Mahomes, 27 for Jalen Hurts. Completion percentage, basically equal. Total yards, Mahomes a little bit higher. TD to turnover ratio, basically the same. And Hurts has fewer turnovers. Passer rating, basically the same. I'm wondering, have we been, kind of sleeping a little on Jalen Hurts as a passer and as a quarterback over the last 3 years? Because very famously, Perloff, and you know this season, Jalen Hurts and the Eagles got off to a 2-2 start. And part of the reason was because Jalen Hurts had 7 giveaways in those first 4 weeks. And then after that, they went 14-3. And he only, after week 4, he only gave the ball away 3 times, and they went 14-3. So they had a turnover problem with Hurts, and they fixed it, and he stopped playing risk. He stopped taking, so many risks, and they're here in the Super Bowl. And 0 giveaways this postseason.
Wait, did you say the last 3 years?
Yeah, last 3 years.
Well, I think you understated the yardage difference a little bit.
I said total yardage was different. 290 per game for Mahomes, 260 for Hurts. Is it that different?
Jalen Hurts is at 260 over the last 3 years? Okay, I'm looking at different numbers then, because I see Mahomes was like...
Wait, are you looking at this graphic that we were both texted?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I just think Mahomes is... It feels like peak Mahomes is just so much higher because he had those crazy, crazy seasons. Hurts, they're never going to have the volume of passing, right? That's the key with Hurts. You got to contain him, as you just said, because... It happened to be turnovers, but they never want to let him just rip it all over the place.
Okay, but we're talking about the last 3 years. This is not the same Mahomes that was first breaking into the league and rolling out of bed and throwing for 5,000 yards. This is different.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying I think because we know what Mahomes can do. That's the difference. And I think a lot of people assume if Mahomes ever needs to be in a game like that, he can do that a little bit. Kind of did that on Sunday. I mean, his numbers have ticked up in the last part of the season, funnily enough, when they needed him to.
You don't think that Jalen Hurts is able to get into a shootout?
He had the one game against the Super Bowl, and he was great. But generally, no, I'm much more comfortable with Mahomes in a shootout than Jalen Hurts in a passing shootout, definitely.
How about Jalen Hurts after the NFC Championship game on Sunday thanked Nick Sirianni for taking the straitjacket off of him? Clearly, he feels like he could definitely win in a shootout. 855-212-4227. Yeah, listen, I think that Jalen Hurts was awesome in the Super Bowl that he played against the Chiefs, except for the pick six, and that was in the first half, I believe. And everyone thought that his knee was all messed up, and the guy rushed for 3 touchdowns and looked great. So, yeah, I'm not sleeping on Jalen Hurts.
Wow, I think Mahomes is significantly better.
Well, all time, yeah, but we're talking about this moment. What's the team? Even you say it, the Chiefs got boring. They don't play the same way.
Yeah, but I feel like if Mahomes needs it, he'll pull it out. I really do, and I'm not saying that to argue with you. I think the Chiefs have a decided edge at quarterback.
You don't think that Jalen Hurts, who we just saw get into a shootout with the Chiefs 2 seasons ago in the Super Bowl, go toe-to-toe and lose on a defensive holding call, you don't think that he could do that again?
I'd be surprised. Yeah, I would be surprised. I don't expect a 38-35 game. I don't think the Chiefs play that way, and I don't think the Eagles want to pass the ball that much. I think 3 years ago they were much more comfortable playing vertically. Obviously, they have Saquon, so just by definition, no, I don't feel as comfortable with Jalen Hurts as a pocket quarterback. Especially, one thing, pressure is a big problem for Jalen Hurts. Like, he didn't really pick up the Dan Quinn's blitz as well. I feel like if the Chiefs get after Hurts, he's going to be in trouble. Yeah, I definitely do, because he took a ton of sacks this year. But I'm surprised you're looking at me like what I'm saying is against your grain. I think what you're saying is I'm a little more contrarian.
Well, it's just funny. It's like, he had trouble picking up the Dan Quinn blitz. He went 20 for 28 for 246 yards and a passing touchdown. Seemed like he picked it up okay. Well,
yeah, but I mean, the issue with the Eagles is you're playing the run. Yeah, I mean, Spagnuolo is going to be a different animal. There was a couple, you saw the plays where they just had a jailbreak blitz on Hurts and he got sacked for 20 yards. The problem with him this year was he held on to the ball a long time. He's got to, thank God he could escape on Sunday. So, yeah, I am pretty sure that the Chiefs have a decided quarterback edge.
Let's go to Tom. He's in Youngstown, Ohio. Tom, you want to see the Chiefs three-peat, or would you like to see the Chiefs lose?
All right, here's my take on this. Sorry, Perloff, but any other team but Philadelphia brings it into a let's get rid of Kansas City conversation. But Philadelphia, kind of like Dallas and kind of like the Bears, they're not likable teams. I mean, so it's hard to root for Philadelphia even against Kansas City. And I think Mahomes is such a nice guy that he takes away a lot of that hatred because he seems like such a good guy. And Andy Reid is the opposite of Bill Belichick. People like Andy Reid. So it's tough to root for Philadelphia. Sorry, bro.
Oh, I hear you.
It's just hard to root for them. I mean, Detroit, I think we would have had, it would have been like a million, please, this is the team we want to win. Philly doesn't give you that feeling. It just doesn't.
Yeah, Tom, not exactly America's team, those Philadelphia Eagles. Thank you so much. And I don't know if America's team right now is that loved either, but no, I don't think anyone Philly just seems like it's kind of insular. Like, you love Philadelphia if you grew up in or around Philadelphia. How many people in Northern California are walking around with A.J. Brown jerseys? I don't think that many.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. You never know what players will break through nationally. Like, we're talking about Odell Beckham Jr. He broke through in a big way. Nobody likes the Giants nationally, but he was popular. So I'm not sure it's always a team. I don't think Jalen Hurts is wildly popular like Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen. For some reason, yeah, again, it sounds like I'm killing Jalen Hurts in this segment. I just don't think he captures the imagination of the sporting public the way some other quarterbacks do. It doesn't have a ton of highlight plays.
855-212-4227. All right, so we got two things going on today. We have our question about the Chiefs. Would you rather see a three-peat or them lose? And then on Wednesdays, we do something called the Great Debate. Today's Great Debate, the greatest athlete to never win a title. Eric's in Indiana. Quickly, Eric, this is a great one. Who do you have?
Well, I got the stat. Maddox, Glavin, and Martinez and Smoltz faced Tony Gwynn 323 times during his career, and he only struck out 3 times. I'd have to say that would kind of be my guy.
Eric, Tony Gwynn is such a great one, and it's such a bummer with Tony Gwynn and with San Diego and with the strike and what would have happened if he had been able to go to the World Series. One of the all-time what-ifs in sports, and Tony Gwynn was phenomenal. 855-212-4227. Perloff goes against the grain. Next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Against the grain.
All right, welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. I already went against the grain and said why I think all the reasons that people hate the Chiefs are thin and felonious. Actually, felonious is not the right word, but they're just made-up reasons. I don't get any of them. But I'll tell you here, it's Maggie, 5 reasons to love the Chiefs. 5 reasons that you cannot, as a neutral fan, root against the Kansas City Chiefs. And tell me if any of these you disagree with, because I think they're all rock solid. Okay. Number 1, Andy Reid is the most likable coach in the NFL.
Can't go there.
What? Oh, okay. Well, already we're off. Who's more likable? Which coach is more likable?
Give me a second. I'll pick someone.
You're not going to find one. Andy Reid is... The Bundelruski ad is kind of maybe putting a dent in that, but Andy Reid is definitely the most popular and likable coach in the NFL.
My favorite
Harbaugh is a good stand-up comedian, but everybody in the league hates Harbaugh, so it's too intense. So I think Andy Reid is number 1. I don't even know who's second.
Unless you guys in this room,
well, I think the players
that I don't
like Mike Tomlin, he won that player poll of who would you most like to play for, and I think most people think Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan are like these geniuses, but Shanahan has lost to Reid twice.
That's likable. Not better, not likable within the team.
Brian Callahan, I have no idea.
You know who it's not is Nick Sirianni, by the way.
How about Pete Carroll's back? So Pete Carroll.
Nah, Andy Reid's more likable than Pete Carroll. Okay, number 2. That's just my opinion. Andy Reid. Who doesn't like Andy Reid? Big Red?
Oh, later on.
Okay, number 2. Mahomes is spectacular. I know he's boring now, but he is the ultimate highlight quarterback. That guy's done things in the NFL that nobody can do. So why is this not like a good thing? He has reinvented the quarterback position. He's more spectacular than Lamar Jackson. He is just as good as Aaron Rodgers. The guy is like, why are we rooting for him? He's like Michael Jordan in football. I do not understand. Explain.
I have to go point by point?
Oh, I just say, do you agree?
Yeah, he's amazing.
Okay, yeah. Number 3. They play team football. Why would we not like the way the Chiefs play? Every single guy sacrifices for the team. Every single one of them. Kelsey caught 2 passes in the AFC title game and was blocking like a maniac. Dude's 35 and dating the number 1 pop star in the world. The Chiefs play absolutely the right way from top to bottom. They should be celebrated as a team, a classic example of team football. Kind of like the Patriots, but even better. Like, this is a true team, totally celebrated. Number 4, their fans are totally non-objectionable. Who has problems with Chiefs fans? They're right in the middle of the country. They're not treading on anyone. I've never heard anybody have an issue with Chiefs fans until maybe this year. They are totally nothing wrong with them. Eagles fans, objectionable. Chiefsaholic, objectionable.
Yeah,
but
that guy.
He's serving time, so he is not out there. Generally, they have good fans, and they have Paul Rudd.
They should stop that tomahawk chop, though. And FSU, too, and all those people. That's my personal opinion, but go ahead.
Yeah, but in the annoying fan bases in the NFL. They are not one of them.
I know. I sit next to someone who roots for one.
Yeah. And then you have Jets fans around here. Like, this is the worst around here. Okay, number 5, I think we should all be rooting for them because they're chasing history. You might not like it now, but, and I know, EJ, you don't like it, in 30 years when you're telling your grandkids, you're going to say, yeah, I was there. I saw the three-peat. and it's going to be something special. So I think that is why a neutral fan, you might not feel in the moment, but I guarantee you're going to tell your grandkids, I saw it. Just like I tell people I saw Michael Jordan. It is something that is going to be appreciated. So everybody who's saying they're tired of this, just wait a few years. You will remember this, and you're going to respect it, and you're going to say, yeah, I was all about that.
I think is that the last point?
That's how 5 points, yeah.
Okay, I think that last point is the best point. I think that it will age it's going to be an all-time thing they're going to do if they do pull off the three-peat. And it really does start this interesting conversation about Mahomes versus Brady and about what was the more dominant of the dynasties. And I love that. I love that part of it because I'm curious. And I think there's arguments on both sides.
I'm still mad because you won't admit that Andy Reid is the most likable coach.
I mean, likable is pretty subjective, right? I mean,
I don't know. He's a big teddy bear. He's Andy Reid. He dabs. He
dabs.
The fact that you could come up with another one that is sort of universally, at least mildly liked.
I said I think that Pete Carroll is very much like it for everyone but Richard Sherman. No, I'm just
Pete Carroll is just getting back into the league. Pete Carroll, you're right, is popular, but I don't think he's as popular as Andy Reid. And who else? You said Sean McVay? Come on. Nobody likes Sean McVay like that.
Keep raiding his tree.
Yeah, he's a great coach. And Kyle Shanahan's a great coach, but they're not lovable because Andy Reid's been around forever. He's been kind of like saying nothing in press conferences for 30 years. Give me one.
I'm so stupid. Dan Campbell. Everybody likes Dan Campbell, and I think we like Dan Campbell even more than we like Andy Reid.
I think Reid has too many years on him. I think we've been liking Reid for a long time. The mustache.
What's this we?
We America.
Oh.
People, and by the way, even you, EJ, you don't like the Chiefs. Like, you can't seriously have a problem with Andy Reid. Like, he's harmless at best.
I don't have a massive problem with him, but I think that there are things about all these folks that I think people can point to and say, hey, I'm not crazy about that. Like Andy Reid, like I know his kids have had issues, but I think there are people when that stuff was happening, his kids were getting off on, seemed like light charges for seemed like serious crimes. There were some people that looked at him and said, what's going on in the household? Like, I'm not saying that this is a reason to hate him, but I'm saying like there are reasons why not everybody loves Andy Reid.
Yeah. I think Dan Campbell has taken the torch of the most likable. Now, listen, Dan Campbell's stock is down now because they lost and got upset in the NFC divisional round. And Reid's stock is still high because they're back in the Super Bowl going for history.
They'll never see it coming.
I think people love Campbell. Let's go to Jared, who's in Boise. But good 5 points, bro. Well done. What do you got, Jared?
Hey, guys. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can, sir.
Okay, I would like to say that I represent the entire city of Boise and how we do not want to see a Chiefs three-peat. We want the Birds to take home the Lombardi this year, and it is because of one man only, Kellen Moore, the most winningest quarterback in college football history. Okay, so I know Perloff will like that. You go into every grocery store and people are talking about the Birds and how Kellen Moore is going to put up 50 on the Chiefs.
Man,
so
Kellen Moore's still
awesome.
the number one athlete from Boise. Ashton Jeanty hasn't taken any of that Kellen Moore shine?
He's definitely number two. People like Kellen just because he had a lot more wins.
Sure.
And he's still a community guy. He does commercials out here and stuff like that.
Got it.
But anyway,
will you guys all, basically the city of Boise kind of adopt whatever team drafts Ashton Jeanty?
Oh, absolutely. Like, I'm thinking about moving to Denver. I think he's going to go there for a job. And honestly, if Jeanty goes there, I might take this job.
Jared, the commitment is just dynamite. I love it. This is what we need.
Absolutely. But I need to destroy Perloff
Jeanty
super quick before I leave. The reason that the country is pulling for the Birds, I think, except for New York, Dallas, and Santa Claus, is because just what the NFL is kind of turning into. People love the physicality of the NFL, and the Chiefs just kind of represent the change that the NFL is. Like, I don't think it's necessarily the Chiefs' fault. They're just benefiting from the rule. But at the end of the day, they're the face of the NFL. And then you have the whole Taylor Swift aspect of it, whether you like or don't like her music.
Sure.
Will determine that as well. But that's all I got to say, guys. Thanks.
Yeah, Jared, thank you for the call. Well thought out.
People hate roughing the passer. I mean, that's...
Yeah, they do. It's going to be reviewable, right? Are they thinking about making it reviewable next year?
I don't know what to tell you about the Chiefs. Yeah, the other teams get it too. Jalen Hurts, does he get roughing the passer? He always has those awkward slides. He won't take the hit. You know, he's such a wimp about that. I hope he takes the hits in the Super Bowl. He even did that against Washington. I'm like, dude, you're sliding 4 yards too early.
Who says I hope my quarterback takes hits in the biggest game of the season?
I want him to run like crazy in this game. Don't you want your quarterback to just leave it all on the line? The reason quarterbacks don't run is to preserve their health. There's nothing to preserve for.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And he scored 3 rushing touchdowns in the NFC Championship game.
Great.
So I think he's going to be running for sure. You know what's funny about the Taylor Swift thing, and we mentioned it before when we talk about dynasties and people are popular and kind of turning on them, and you brought up the Caitlin Clark thing and how people may eventually turn on her even though she hasn't won anything yet. Like, how do you get the heel turn before you even get the titles? But I did actually notice a little when Caitlin Clark was sitting next to Taylor Swift in the suite for the win over the Texans. And I feel like people were like disappointed that Caitlin Clark was sitting next to her.
Definitely.
It's like, did you not think that Caitlin Clark might be a Taylor Swift fan?
Shocker.
What's that?
Yeah, shocker, right?
Yeah. Like, what are you talking about?
Gen Z woman likes Taylor Swift.
That's not news at 11.
Well, I think it gets into that. There's this, one of the reasons people don't like this Taylor Swift thing is because all these A-list celebrities are in there. And I think there is a real dislike of A-list celebrities right now in America. Like, I think it's the elitists, right? Like, I think that, and now Caitlin's part of the elite, kind of felt icky, right?
Andrew Bogusch has headlines for us. What's up, Bogusch?
Can I be the pig-headed New Yorker and just remind folks who are not Chiefs fans that Philadelphia as a city doesn't deserve any of this? Like, this should be easy. The Chief backlash, the perfect medicine for that is facing the Eagles. There's a whole city of Perloffs walking around.
What did Philadelphia do? We founded this country, dude.
No. The country was founded in your city.
By the way, how's it going now?
Don't blame us.
I mean, if I see one more video of a poor Commanders fan getting accosted over the weekend, what is...
Oh, my God.
No thanks.
Oh, pick one jerk as a hat off a Commander.
There's like 17 videos.
I know, it's just hard. You might have the right message, but you're the wrong messenger. You can't be like you can't be a person from New York being like, Philadelphia, what a town of, loudmouths.
But I'm the expert. I got to share this. I understand in Boise, Kellen Moore, I get that. I can't fight that, so I can't bring this fight to Boise. Other places, without a Kellen Moore, listen to me. Listen to me. Everything that you think bad about the Chiefs is dwarfed in comparison by the heathens that live in Philadelphia.
He finally said something on the air that's worth a bleep.
Wow. All right.
The team is kind of likable, though. The players themselves.
I love Saquon Barkley.
Yeah,
I want Saquon Barkley to win a title for any other team other than the Eagles.
I don't know if that's going to happen, dude.
And the Cowboys and the Commanders.
Yeah, by the way,
I'd accept the Commanders as a trade to get them away from the Eagles and Cowboys.
Do you hate the Cowboys less than you hate the Eagles?
The Cowboys are entertaining. I appreciate the Cowboys being the current state of the Cowboys.
Oh, because there's it's dumpster fire material at any moment. Yeah.
Thank you for air quotes. That's a new good joke for a while.
Yeah, Jerry crying at the press conference.
What does Philly give me?
I think the Cowboys are the most hated and the most popular team. I wonder if the Chiefs are going to replace them as the most hated and the most popular.
I think it's looking like it. And by the way, you make hires like Brian Schottenheimer to be your head coach.
Yeah.
You slide into irrelevance.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have had Deion Sanders or maybe Bill Belichick and you go with Schotty. That's not raising the Q rating here for the next generation. But listen, maybe he's the next Marty Schottenheimer. Bogusch, what's going on today?
We've given the Dodgers a lot of crap about their spending the last 2 winters, but they should be commended for this. The Dodgers Foundation and the Family Foundation of Chairman Mark Walter have committed $100 million to L.A. wildfire recovery efforts. Magic Johnson is also involved in this new organization put together by California Governor Gavin Newsom. The Lakers are across the country on a road trip right now. They won in Charlotte, but they didn't win in Philly.
LeBron with a feed that's stolen. The Lakers are turning it over at a rapid rate. Yabu to Maxey. Open three. Tyrese Maxey pours it in. Timeout Lakers. J.J. Redick steps on the court, and the Sixers lead by 19 points. Oh, my.
This is my point. They're snapping Laker win streaks. They can't cool off the Knicks. They're embarrassing Bronny last night.
Yeah, they beat Bronny.
They did.
I thought that guy was getting a little too excited.
That was Tom McGinnis on Sixers Radio. Tyrese Maxey had 43 in this 118-104 win. The Lakers also losing Anthony Davis early to an abdominal strain. Here's LeBron.
I mean, when our best player goes out, it's always, challenging, especially in the game. If he's out from the beginning, then we have a game plan set. We know what to expect. We know what our lineup's going to be.
Bronny played a career-high 15 minutes last night and struggled. He missed all 5 shots he took, committed 3 turnovers, and had no chance guarding Maxey. Steph Curry resting his knees. The Warriors still beat the Jazz 114-103. The Blazers topped the Bucks 125-112 in Damian Lillard's second game back in Portland. And the Rockets 196 winners in Atlanta. They've now won 4 in a row. The Kings are expected to make De'Aaron Fox available before next week's deadline. Fox apparently prefers the Spurs, and his side reportedly will tell other teams not to bother going after him because he would not sign with them long-term in the summer of 2026.
This has got to happen, though, right? Like Fox going to the Spurs, get Wemby a great wingman, get them in the playoffs, some excitement. That'd be amazing. No?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Let's make it happen.
Is he good enough to win a title? When bust Jama? I'm honestly I've always I love
Wemby
De'Aaron
or
Fox.
Oh, Fox.
I just don't know if he's a great enough shooter to go all the way. Is he the perfect partner for Wemby to take him to? Because Wemby's got to win a title. I'm curious. Why would he be on the trade market if he was that great? Crossed my mind.
He took the Kings to the playoffs. I mean, they didn't been in the playoffs in 20 years.
Also, I think he put himself on the trade market. I think the team would have ponied up again. They already gave him one huge contract. I think they would have given him another. No.
Yeah, I don't think he.
I don't think they want him out of town.
He doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
Mike McCarthy was under some level of consideration for the Saints job, but now we're told he is focused on next offseason's hiring cycle. Eagles OC Kellen Moore, the assumed favorite now in New Orleans, but nothing can happen with him until after the Super Bowl. Michigan State men's basketball on its longest winning streak in 8 seasons, 7th-ranked Sparty reeling off 13 straight thanks to last night's 73-51 win over Minnesota. It's 10 wins in a row for number 21 Louisville, 72-59 over Wake Forest, and number 15 St. John's won its 7th straight, 66-41 at Georgetown. A major move in WNBA free agency last night. Brittany Griner leaving Phoenix, the only place she has played for the Atlanta Dream. That news coming shortly after we were told that Phoenix was trading for Connecticut All-Star forward Alyssa Thomas. And finally, guys yelling about hockey.
And now Dallas has a 2-on-1. It's Johnston across, back to Johnston. He scores! Hat trick! Overtime winner! And the comeback is complete. The Stars beat the Knights 4-3.
That's Stars Radio. Dallas was down 3-1 in the second. Then Wyatt Johnston scored in that second, again in the third, and there in overtime for a 4-3 win. Guys, back to you.
Folks, thanks so much. Coming up, this story, I don't know if we should believe it or not. We live in a time when maybe we get fooled by things. This should be an all-time story, but I don't think any of us can figure out if it's true. We'll tell you about it next. It's M&P.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. It's kind of an interesting story that came across the internet, and I can't tell if it's true or not, Perloff. It's a high school basketball player in California who scored 102 points.
Right.
And his brother had 35 assists.
And no points.
And no points. Is that right?
Yeah.
He didn't make a single field goal. You're right. So this is, oh man, his last name is hard to pronounce. I don't want to mess it up. Nick Kochtikanian and his brother Dylan. Nick is the one who scored 102 points. His brother Dylan was the one who had the 35 assists. The score was 79-0 at halftime. And he would score 102 points in 22 minutes of 40 of 60 shooting.
Yeah,
Are we being duped here? Like, did this happen?
But we've seen like crazy blowouts at the amateur levels before, right?
Yeah, we see this, I think, a lot in, high school basketball. Sometimes it happens with the girls' side a little bit more.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
UConn used to, like, really embarrass teams, even at the college level, in the early parts of their dynasty.
And there was a college game. That kid, Jack Taylor, had how many games was it recently? 138 points?
Oh, I don't know.
For Grinnell College, right?
Yeah, Grinnell.
That was a college,
that
right?
was like 15 years ago now.
I mean,
was it 15 years ago?
Yeah, that was a while ago. I remember
2012.
I remember waking up for school that day and seeing that on SportsCenter.
So because of the 3-point line, you can do this. I think the reason this is controversial, they're obviously like Don't you lay off at a certain point?
Yeah, 79-0
Maybe
at
dribble
halftime.
a little bit. Yeah.
Maybe you just run out the shot clock a little.
Yeah,
and
you don't keep gutting.
Is this-
7 seconds offense.
Is this? Yeah, right. You're running the
Mike D'Antoni.
Mike D'Antoni 7 seconds or less offense, or you're running like the old Princeton, like Pete Carrill. Yeah, you got to lay off a little. Or do you let one of your players go for history because now we're talking about him on a national morning show, and he maybe gets a couple of college looks because of this? I don't know. 102 points allegedly.
Yeah, I would go for it. Like, right, if you could score 100 points in a game, I mean, listen, I would kill for just like 8 points in a high school game, let alone 100 points. That's incredible. But it kind of exhausting, too. Like, it takes a lot of energy to
Think about
score
it.
100.
Just to put up 60 shots in 22 minutes.
So I saw, by the way, LeBron wanted footage of this game. Is there no highlights? What do we got here on the video side of this?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is why I keep going allegedly. And it's an ESPN article, so they're putting their name on it. It's Mesrobian High School, just outside of L.A.
Yeah.
They beat Pasadena's Waverly High School 119-25. This was last Thursday. And it was Nick Kochtikayan. I keep butchering this kid's last name. I'm so sorry. He averages 32 points a game, but he broke the state of California's single-game scoring record, dropping 102 points. 102 of the team's 119 points in 22 minutes. 80% from the field, as I said, 48 of 60 shot attempts. He only took 6 3-pointers, and he hit 3 of them.
Get Nick some help.
Well, see, that's the other part. It's not just the other team, and this is is this poor sportsmanship to beat a team 119-25? I would say it falls in the category. But what about the other teammates? Maybe they just want him to go for the record, and it gets everybody on the map, and everyone has a good time.
I'm looking at the highlights. The other team looks like they can walk and chew gum at the same time. I don't know what's happening here. They're not that bad. This is so weird.
Night.
There is video, and he's just hitting layup after layup. They're trying to play defense. Oh, man. We need to do a 30 for 30 on this game.
Where's your game tape, LeBron?
Well, the other part, it's funny that LeBron, who is kind of, we mess around that he lies about insignificant things like seeing The Godfather and somehow knowing that Kobe was going to score 81 points before he did it. All this silly stuff. But the two brothers are holding up paper like Wilt's 100. And one says 102 and the other kid says 35 AST, of the 35 assists. They're barely smiling.
Yeah, you got to look cool when you're holding up the 100 point bear. Wilt was smiling, actually. But isn't that a thing, by the way? I think it's actually Gen Z or they don't believe things happened, right? Isn't there young kids became
thank you, internet.
Yeah, they thought Helen Keller was made up. That was a big controversial thing. It's actually kind of scary because then they deny other things in history.
You think the Kyrie Irving calling the Earth flat? People not thinking the moon landing happened.
Right. They definitely
stuff.
don't believe Wilt scored 100. But this, I think there's a lot. I'm watching a lot of layups. I can't believe this was all made up. I think he did score 102, Maggie. I think you can take the allegedly out.
Okay.
Taking 60 shots in a high school game that has 8-minute quarters is diabolical.
It's so many shots.
Come on, man.
God, I would have loved to play in this game on the losing team. Because I could have fired up a lot of threes.
I don't know if they were doing that. It doesn't seem like they were doing much of anything. They were down 79-0 at half.
Yeah, I don't know how they got nothing.
Is this team just lockdown D?
No, it's a lot of fast. They're running a 1980s style Celtics fast break. No, I have no idea what's happening here. They're short. Yeah,
James Harden.
When you do stuff like that, come on, man. I'm sorry.
Some final poll results for you from today. Who is the greatest athlete to never win a title? My pick of Ted Williams is winning over Dan Marino, Charles Barkley, and Ernie Banks, and presumably Patrick Ewing. And then also, what do you want to see in the Super Bowl? A Chiefs three-peat, a Chiefs loss. Chiefs loss at 53%.
Yeah, I did the same poll. I got 68% saying no three-peat.
There you got it. There you have it. EJ Stewart, thank you. Manny Rodriguez, thank you. Andrew Bogusch, Andrew Kaplan, Weedos, and Coffee Drinkers, callers, you guys have been on fire. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow.
You're in a 5-minute break.